welcome you to opening day for Texas football. Inside Texas Stadium, a packed house is always on hand for Longhorn football. With Ray Bentley, I'm Dave Lamont. Thank you very much for joining us. And we're over 120 years of Texas football, Ray, and the excitement around this team. The questions are they undersold? They were picked 4th in the Big 12 preseason. Are they oversold? Some have them in the top 10. Some have talked about this team being in a BCS bowl. Where do you find it?
I think they're being undersold big time, as a matter of fact. I think Texas is ready for a Big 12 title run. They've got all kinds of things working for them. 19 returning starters. A quarterback, David Ash, who I think is the best in the Big 12. And they also have a defense that has a chip on their shoulder. They're a little angry. The depth on this team is amazing. The weapons that they have, everything has come together. I think this will be a huge year for the Longhorns.
They begin with New Mexico State, and let's be honest, this is the team that's had its struggles recently. Just one win last year. They bring in Doug Martin, who had been on the staff before as an offensive coordinator, and he is trying to change things in Las Cruces. I mean, everything in Las Cruces.
Well, they need to. And let me be the first to welcome the Aggies into the 21st century. They actually got themselves a legitimate strength and conditioning coach in Don Decker, and he has already changed the bodies of this team. They also have moved to an up-tempo spread offense, which is something that I feel that is modern and something they need to do. So they are putting it together here a little bit. And also the recruiting has changed. Now, no longer are they going to California. They are coming right here in the state of Texas. In fact, 8 members of their 2014 class are from the state of Texas. They only have 10 Texas guys on the roster right now, so they're trying to get it done.
And you get to Las Cruces through Texas. You fly to El Paso and make the drive west. So the opportunity is certainly there for New Mexico State, but they do have a long way to go. Some of the numbers are a little bit ugly for them. For the Longhorns, a lot of people, Ray, point to that bowl win, the Valero Alamo Bowl, as the beginning of this season, 2013.
Yeah, and that's what they told us, and that was a huge game for them for a lot of reasons. Number one, I think David Ash established himself in that game as the true leader. No longer has to look over his shoulder and see if there's a McCoy behind him, someone coming in to take over the business. So I think he's much more comfortable, and you know, with that, the team kind of grew right along with him. They need that guy that can stand out front and be the leader.
And here they are. See, they're led by Nate Boyer, number 37, an inspiring story. Former soldier now playing football as the long snapper for this team. He figured out, what's my best chance to play? I'll be the deep snapper, and he's done an effective job. And of course, his locker room leadership is very much valued around Longhorn land. Well, another big thing here in 1963, Texas won the national championship. It's the 50th anniversary of that, and the celebration will be going on all season long. We'll turn it over now to our stadium public address announcer, Bob Cole, for more.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to recognize the honorary captains representing the University of Texas in tonight's game. Welcome back, the 1963 National Championship team. And representing the team, our 1963 captains, Tommy Ford, Coach David McWilliams, and representing Scott Appleton, his sister Tresha Appleton-Steffens. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a Texas-sized round of applause to these true Longhorn legends that represent our very first national championship. And please continue to direct your attention to midfield for the coin toss. Captains from both teams are meeting with officials right now.
You want your options this half or next half? You want to defer? Texas won the toss. They will defer. You want to kick, receiver, defend the goal. We want to kick. Kick. You want to kick. Receive. He wants the ball. What goal do you want to defend? You want to kick this one. All right, just stay right where you are. In the first half, New Mexico State will receive. Guys, shake hands. Let's have a great game.
And let's meet the third member of our team, Kaylee Hartung, who's standing by with Coach Mack Brown.
Thanks, Dave. Coach Brown, as we both know, there are a lot of unknowns with this New Mexico State team. What do you need to see from your team to consider this game a success?
We want to dominate both lines of scrimmage. We want to get a fast start, and we want to make some key plays in the kicking game.
A lot of responsibilities on David Ash's shoulders this season. How do you describe the growth you've seen from him on and off the field?
He's in a great place right now. He's had tremendous spring in camp, and I think the fourth quarter at the Oregon State game last year really helped him move forward, and I hope to see the same tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Dave.
Kaylee and Coach, thank you very much. Well, David Ash is the perfect place to start because he is, along with Mack Brown, the face of this football program.
Yeah, and I tell you what, he's right where he needs to be right now as far as his comfort, not only in the game and on the field, but in this program as a leader. And then they're jumping to a up-tempo offense, which I think suits him ideally. He has an understanding of where he has to go, the personnel groups that he's going to deal with, and man, does he got some weapons all over the field. The running backs, Jonathan Gray, Joe Bergeron, Malcolm Brown. It doesn't get much better than that. You're going to hand the ball off. And then the other weapons on the outside, DeJay Johnson, Jackson Shipley, Marcus Johnson. He's got all kinds of places to go with this football to make this an explosive offense.
Of course, you don't like offense because you play defense in the NFL and the USFL and in college, and this is an unhappy group of defenders, and you like that.
Yeah, I do, and Manny Diaz told us, hey, we're angry. They got a chip on their shoulder. They feel like they have taken some heat on things that they had already cleaned up, the big one being missed tackles. And so, I'll tell you, there's nothing more beautiful than a defense that's a little bit angry, David.
Well, it's also nothing more beautiful than a defense that has their star players back in Jordan Hicks and Jackson Jeffcoat, too. Don't forget about how devastating those losses were for those outstanding players. They're healthy. Talked to both of them yesterday, and they're more than ready to go, and so are we. After a little bit of a save by our referee, Cooper Castleberry, it will be New Mexico State receiving the first half kickoff after the Longhorns deferred.
Yeah, I didn't blame the kid. I wanted to kick, too, every time. Didn't matter who won the toss. Get out there and play some defense, set a tone.
Nick Rose, what a leg he has. There's a very good likelihood we're going to start with a touchback. And that's exactly what happened as Adam Shapiro decided to take a knee. And here is Andrew McDonald, a senior from Pomona, California, but he's only had 3 pass attempts in his college career at this level. You see what he did at Santa Ana College. He was very good there. But this is the first opportunity. This is his team. But the question around New Mexico State is, how long is this going to be his team?
Well, they do have King Davis III, a true freshman that we'll see action tonight. But in the meantime, McDonald is a kid who has a pretty good strong arm, very accurate on the intermediate throws, poise, control, not much of a threat with his legs.
Number 25, Jeremy Morrison is the tailback. Already going deep into the play clock on the first snap of the season. And we're going to begin with a delay of game penalty. And that's Doug Martin, the head coach of New Mexico State. He was the head coach at Kent State from 2004 through 2010. His 8th season as a college head coach. First and 15. Morrison for a couple. It'll be second down and about 13 as the middle of the Texas line led by Cedric Reed gets in the way. It's time for our Chick-fil-A Impact Players of the Game.
Well, Devontae Wallace is the best prospect for the Aggies. He's the left tackle. King Davis, we'll see him later, talked about him as a quarterback. And then Jeffcoat and Hicks, both back from injuries from last year. They're the heart, soul, and the new leaders on this defense. Watch for those guys to fly around here today.
Will stay with Morrison. They'll get across the 25 to 27. Going to be third down and long. Tackle made by Jordan Hicks. And Ray, we were talking this morning, and this is a player you really love.
Well, I have a soft spot in my heart for linebackers, Dave, as you might imagine. And I'm watching Jordan Hicks on tape, and I never see one guy able to block him. He just beats every one-on-one situation. He wins. And when you got a guy that can do that, that demands a lot of attention from an offense.
Aggies need 8. Go to the screen, nowhere, absolutely nowhere, smothered by Chris Whaley. Excellent job. They tried to use the Longhorn speed against him, and it didn't work.
And you're going to see Whaley right here. That's the nose tackle. Watch how he recognizes screen and then retraces his steps. Right there, bam. Now he's just running laterally down the line, and he catches the running back. That's pretty good movement for the big fella, 6'3", 295-pound fifth-year senior.
Quandre Diggs standing around the 34-yard line for the one of 12 Division I punters who hail from Australia. Chapman Brown is almost blocked. Fair catch made, and Diggs will temporarily drop it and recover it at the 40-yard line, a 36-yard kick. And it looked like Mikel Thompson almost got a piece of that. Well, here he is, David Ash. Is he, as Ray Bentley says, the best quarterback in the Big 12? We're going to find out.
I think he is. You know, you look at the improvement that he had from his sophomore year into last year, I should say. Dramatic improvement, and particularly throwing the ball down the field. And now the next step is red zone efficiency and also keeping his dauber up. He gets mad at himself sometimes.
Here's that diamond formation or pod or reverse wing T, and that guy right there, DJ Johnson, is the one to watch, and he gets the ball in the first play. Dragging a tackler across the 45 to the 46 for a gain of 6. Second down and 4, and let's revisit, Ray, our Chick-fil-A impact players of the game.
Well, the two guys that you'll see and hear about on defense, Davis Cazares and Trayshawn Nixon. Cazares, a strong safety, acts more like a linebacker, and then DJ Johnson, they're going to find all kinds of ways to get him the ball, and Jonathan Gray, the leading rusher from last year, is ready to go.
And this is Ash on his own read. He gets across midfield of the 47-yard line. An attack made by George Callender. And there was some talk about getting David Ash a chance to run the ball a couple of times to kind of get him to break the sweat.
And that's something I think a lot of quarterbacks like, is to take a little bit of a hit and get the blood flowing and get things going. And David Ash is one of those guys.
Swing pass out of the backfield, incomplete. It'll be second down and 10. Jonathan Gray not able to hang on to that one.
Take a look at this. It's just a really a quick screen, zipping it out to the outside, a little bit low and behind Gray. And when you're trying to go fast, you can't have the ball on the ground.
Gray up the middle. That looked like he was really going to go places. He picks up 4. It'll bring us to third down and 6. Tackle made by Willie Mobley. Tripped him up. Early on, you are seeing the pace the Longhorns want to play at, and there will be a lot of substituting in this game on the Texas sideline. We'll see how smoothly they execute that throughout the night. 3rd and 6, first down marker, catch made by Mike Davis. Davis inside the 30, lost the ball. Can the Aggies keep it in bounds? And they do. Nick Oliva recovers the football for the Aggies. It was a nice run by Davis after the catch, but he could not hang on. The ball stripped away. I think that was Darian Johnson.
Yeah, it is. Watch Johnson right there coming from behind the corner, and he tomahawks it from the backside. And you got to be careful. See how he's not protecting the ball? It gets away from his body. And Mike Davis knows better than that. And for him to kind of swing it around out there, you don't know where guys are going to come from. You have to protect it and hold it in tight.
This is a New Mexico State team, Ray, that had 9 turnovers forced all of last season. They take over at their own 23, and we have the officials stepping in. We have a clock issue or possibly a review.
The ruling on the field was a fumble that was recovered by New Mexico State. The previous play is under further review.
Now again, all plays are reviewed. Some get extra attention, and this is one of them that's going to get extra attention, and we'll tell you the impact of this. Is it really a fumble, or will the Longhorns hang on to the ball and catch an early break?
You wait all year for summer. This summer was definitely worth the wait. Summer's best event from Cadillac. Let summer try and pass you by.
Visit Covert Cadillac or AustinCadillac.com for these attractive offers.
This September 20th to 22nd, just what you've come to expect from the Circuit of the Americas. Not one, but two back-to-back world-class races. First up, the American Le Mans Series. Multi-class grid, prototypes, and GTs. 5 races at once, a battle in every corner. And that's just the half of it. The FIA World Endurance Championship takes over with the thrilling and punishing 6 hours of the Circuit of the Americas. 3 days of World Championship racing, just $79. Kids 12 and under are free. Head to circuitoftheamericas.com and get your tickets now.
Can one company energize an industry by fueling a more innovative workforce? Build a brighter tomorrow by rolling up its sleeves and providing a cleaner, more abundant energy source today. Inspire loyalty by constantly aspiring to be better in the workplace, in the community, and with customers. One company can. One Oak, the one in energy.
The answer is in on whether or not this was a fumble. Ray, take a look and tell us what you think.
Well, there's no doubt that Davis fumbles the football. What the question was is whether or not New Mexico State was out of bounds while they were touching the football. But you can see clearly that Oliva had it and he was inbound.
So the ruling stands, and we go back to a very short game, maybe no gain at all. Cedric Reed, number 88, stuffing it now. Texas is claiming they have the football, and the officials aren't fighting. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 after not much there for Jeremy Morrison. We've seen a lot of runs up the middle already for the Aggies.
Very conservative start for Doug Hart's play calling. Greg Brandon, the offensive coordinator, took over the winter.
He was here on opening day a year ago working for Wyoming.
He should be accustomed to what Texas does week 1. This is 2 years in a row for him.
Morrison again, and he's going to get to the 25, and that's going to be all. 3rd down and 8 coming up, and I see Reed in there again along with Whaley and also Diggs.
Yeah, and you're going to see the defense come and close and collapse, and Malcolm Brown is the one who made that play, working to the outside into that contained area, forced the running back Morrison back inside to where help was.
Texas bringing a little heat. There's the screen, batted down. That was Jackson Jeffcoat who got a hand up there to swat that ball down.
That's our first swat of the game. I'm changing this deal on what you call a batted ball by a defensive lineman. After J.J. Watt had 16 in the NFL for Houston last year, they're called swats now in my book, and there's a swat from Jackson Jeffcoat to get things rolling.
Well, it's really going to be interesting to see if he plays a completely healthy year, how impactful he is going to be in the Big 12 and around college football.
No doubt, Dave. I think he's a special talent. Looking at a #1 draft pick right there.
Cale Chapman-Brown, his 2nd punt. A lot of roll on this one. Down about the 28-yard line. So the Longhorns after the 47-yard punt. Jackson Jeffcoat, a leader who's been more vocal in the offseason than he had been before. The talent, well, it's always been there.
Texas football on the Longhorn Network is powered by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
The view from Mount Bunnell, so many unique views you can get in the city of Austin. And there's a beautiful one right there. And there's your score and time. And you can get a pretty good view in the stadium, too. And 100,000 Texas fans packed to see their team ranked 15th against unranked New Mexico State, a team that won only 1 game last year. Texas, of course, coming back with the 9 wins. Their first drive, 5 plays, 37 yards, the Longhorns, and it resulted in a fumble by Mike Davis. So here comes David Ash, and this is David Ash and Mike Davis combination is a big play combo for Texas, and I'm sure we'll see that plenty of times throughout the season. Jonathan Gray, the tailback, number 32. And here we go with Johnson again. Got 1 block in the backfield. Johnson's got great speed into the 45-yard line, and a big gain there. Almost to midfield, Davis Cazares, and there is the Jay Johnson, 18 yards on the ground.
And here's the Jay Johnson. Anytime he's close to the quarterback, he is going to come around and take it on some sort of reverse or a fly sweep. And here he's got a lead blocker as well. And they want to get the ball in his hands, out in space as much as possible.
A nice block downfield, too, by Mike Davis. Dash, deep shot down the middle of the field. Has a man. Davis overthrew him at the 10-yard line. 2nd and 10 coming up. Talked a lot, Ray, this weekend about the deep balls and David Ash throwing long.
Well, this is, I believe, Mike Davis's fault. He's going to take this route, and he's going to bend it inside instead of staying on a straight line. And because of that, the ball gets overthrown by just a little bit, and he had to work his way back outside. If he stays on the track that he's supposed to be on and get away from that safety instead of coming closer to him, that's a touchdown.
It'll be a false start of the Longhorns.
A false start by number 51 of the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 2nd down.
Left tackle Donald Hawkins. It'll be, there's Major Applewhite, the intense offensive coordinator, and he, of course, had a great career here in Texas as a quarterback.
Interesting, he's on the field and mostly just to be the so-called life coach of his quarterback, David Ash.
2nd and 15. They're going to screen it this time. And New Mexico State swallows up Jonathan Gray. Good job by the Aggies defense. That's going to be a loss of 2. 3rd down and 17 is next. Kevin Laudermill on the hit along with Brian Bonilla.
This is a great read by Laudermill as he sees the same thing Chris Whaley saw earlier on a screen. And the best way to stop screens is to have those linemen recognize it.
See which way this goes. Some contact before the snap.
That's on Trayshawn Nixon.
Offside by number 56 of the defense. It's a 5-yard penalty, and it's still 3rd down.
Got the wrong number, but the correct penalty, so it will now be 3rd down. Still, however, a dozen to go. They've got to get to the Aggies 43. Third down and 12. Pressure here. Nash had great protection. He goes underneath to Jackson Shipley. That'll get them 2 yards short of the 1st down, Ray. Any thought here on 4th and 2 going for it at home?
I don't know. No, it's too early. Watch this blitz. You're going to have all 3 of these guys all just come and hit the middle, and watch Texas pick this thing up. That's just a great job of understanding who's coming, where they're coming from. Mason Walters, the right guard, he's the one who saved the bacon right there.
Well, guess what? They disagree with you, sir. Major Applewhite's going to call the
plays. You know what? Plus territory, Dave, I don't have a problem with this.
Hang on here. We have a timeout called by New Mexico State.
Their first timeout of the half.
Well, they went into a wildcat formation with Jonathan Gray to receive the snap. You saw Alex Delatorre, number 36, come into the game, probably to block. And that caused Doug Martin to say, wait a minute, I don't like this alignment at all. Major Applewhite first sat down with him yesterday at the meeting, and he radiates intensity. I mean, he's pleasant to talk to.
That took you by surprise a little bit.
Because most offensive coordinators are the so-called cerebral types, Ray. The guys who, you know, make sure the top button's buttoned and all the other stuff, and they wear nice glasses and the rest of it. Right. This cat looks like he wants to hit.
I kind of like that about Major Applewhite, I'll be honest with you. That's what football's all about. I don't care which side of the ball you're on.
Same formation here for the Longhorns, so they are going to go for it here. Gray at that wildcat position.
Unbalanced line to the right.
Johnson in motion. It'll be Gray looking for room, and he won't get it. The Aggies hold on down. What a lift that's going to be for New Mexico State. You saw Brian Bonilla there, number 12, get in there to help undermine the play. And New Mexico State, along with Trayshawn Nixon, has stopped the Longhorns twice.
Watch what happens on the outside. You get the motion across here, and I think he should have handed this one off. Now, I'm assuming it's not a read as a typical zone read. I'm assuming they told Gray to just take it himself. But they're going to look at that, and when they come back to this, he's going to hand that thing off because there was a lot of room on the outside for Daje Johnson.
Best starting field position for New Mexico State so far tonight from their own 45. Play action fake McDonald. And a completed pass into Texas territory to Paris Scoggins, a senior from Fontana, California. It'll be 2nd down and 3 following the gain of 7.
And you saw the Texas defense hustling after that play. And that's one thing I'm looking for. How fast are they flying around? How many hats are they going to get to the pile?
Pressure from the edge, out, caught at the 47, right to the marker. Looks like a first down. That's made by Jordan Bergstrom from Portland, Oregon. He's a junior. And we may have the first down of the night for New Mexico State. In fact, it will be. They got to the Texas 44-yard line.
Andrew McDonald makes a good decision getting that ball out and throwing it behind the blitz. That's the toughest place for the defense to cover because a guy's got to come out of position to make that coverage.
Keep it, sees a seam, he gets inside the 40, down to the 37-yard line. That's a 7-yard pickup. It'll be second down and 3, tackled by Phillips.
Just your basic option football, quarterback keep, following up inside, a good read by McDonald.
Look who's playing fast, the Aggies. This time the handoff, that is Brandon Betancourt. He'll get a couple. So here comes a gigantic third down. And again, Ray, looking ahead, I've got to think that this is 2-down territory for New Mexico State. Why would you be conservative?
Well, Greg Brandon, you see him right there. He's not necessarily a conservative guy. So I think he's going to go for it here. He's got a chance. He could go play action and take a shot in the end zone is what I would do right here, knowing I had 4th down in my pocket.
Got 30 yards. There's your play action. Instead, they go underneath. They'll get the first down. Catch made by Andrew Dean out of that Y receiver, junior from Camarillo, California. And a gain of 3 keeps the chains moving. Michael Thompson on the stop for the Longhorns.
Nice play call there by Greg Brandon, and then execution by the Aggies here. They're putting together a pretty nice drive right now.
Again, the field position helped too, starting after the turnover on downs at their own 45. Betancourt again, you can see jumping on top of his back. Cedric Reed, number 88. You couldn't even see the ball carrier. A short gain there. They're going to give him 1. 2nd and 9 is next.
And Cedric Reed, watch him right here, and he is just beating up Dada Richards right now. Dada needs mama because he is getting beat off the ball.
Could be an audible here. McDonald again on the keeper. He'll get to the 25. So once again, it's going to be 3rd down. This time 3rd and a long 2 after the gain of 7. Thompson in there again on the stop.
And what they're doing with this option game, they're putting the middle linebackers, Hicks and Edmond, for the Longhorns in a really tough spot because they got to take that inside stuff first.
Inside, Betancourt doesn't make it. Here you go, 4th and a yard. What's the call, Ray?
Field goal, get some points is what I would do.
Yeah, but they've got this team hasn't made a field goal race since the early October of 2012.
Well, then I look to the due factor. They're about due.
If I'm a New Mexico State fan, and I know we've probably got some folks watching who are rooting for those Aggies, I like the call here on 4th and a yard to go.
Being aggressive, Dave, you're right.
36% conversion on 4th downs last year in New Mexico State when they won just 1 game. Better hurry, though, down to 6.
I'd run to the left.
They do, and this is very close. Looking across the field, Jackson Jeffcoat in there on the stop. If that official at the top who just came in from the top of your screen down to the middle is on the ball, it is not a first down.
And there's a couple reasons I run left on there as they're going to take a measurement. Number 1, you're running behind Devontae Wallace, the big senior left tackle. And then on the other one, Cedric Reed is having his way with Dada Richards right now.
Cooper Castleberry is our referee, well known to Big 12 fans. Not even close. So interesting, in the first quarter, we haven't had any points yet. We've had defenses make big stops on 4th downs, 1 of each. So Manny Diaz and his defense playing with that chip. But Doug Martin's Aggies have hung tough in a difficult environment to be if you're the visitor. To the city of Austin, we would like to, on behalf of everybody at Longhorn Network, like to welcome folks from Time Warner Cable to bring this Longhorn Network to about $1.5 million Texans, and we thank you for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed the Longhorn Network programming that you saw last night and through this football game right here. And we're going to give you kind of a shocking stat of the day, at least in the first quarter. Time of possession. Even Bevo looked just a little bit shocked. And New Mexico State leading in that category. Texas fumbled on their first possession, gave it up on downs, and a first appearance of the day from Malcolm Brown. He gets virtually nothing. It'll be 2nd down and 10. But time of possession, I realize sometimes that statistic doesn't mean everything, Ray, but still.
That in a quarter can get you a cup of coffee down at the corner.
Maybe about 30 years ago. Ash struggling with the snap. He's going to have to improvise and gets popped from behind. But when that happened, Kevin Laudermill lost his helmet. He will have to come off for the next play. Meantime, we're 3rd down and about 5.
That's the 2nd consecutive play an Aggie has lost his helmet. As you see, Ash just fumbling around trying to get this thing, and turned it nothing into something, a little bit of something.
Ash going to have to improvise, and they're waiting for him. Closing in quickly. Saw Clint Bernard, number 13, the middle linebacker, picked up a couple. It's going to be 4th down and 3, and for the first time we'll see the Longhorn punting unit out there.
Excellent coverage by the Aggie defense down the field. Ash was looking for Mike Davis on a slant route, and there was a linebacker in the way and then a safety sitting over top of it. He had no choice but to pull that one down.
See, Anthony Farrow is going to do the place kicking and the punting. Texas has had 3 opportunities for 3rd down and missed them all. This is ripped inside the 20, inside the 10, and to a 1. Bryson Eccles down there at the 1-yard line to down it. It's impossible to do that any better. 68 yards.
This is a great special teams play. Now watch Eccles. He didn't see the ball until it bounced right in front of him. So I'm going to say a fortuitous bounce for Eccles and then a great reaction afterwards.
I wonder if he heard the bounce. It's possible.
It's possible. Although I believe he saw it.
So now the football is actually inside the 1-yard line. So Andrew McDonald. And you know what? Did they switch quarterbacks? Is that Davis out there or is that McDonald? New Mexico State has told us they were going to bring in this promising freshman King Davis.
McDonald, and Texas has to hustle. Look at this. They're not ready to go. The ball's been spotted, set, and if I'm McDonald, I stand up and I throw it out to my receiver on the left side because there's nobody there.
Instead, he took the conservative route, 2nd down and 9. So it is McDonald. I didn't think they would bring the freshman in that situation, but you never know. This is Morrison, and he busts through 1 tackle. Jeffco brings him down at the 6-yard line, so at least they cleared that out. Gain of 4, 3rd and about 5 to go.
One thing the Texas defense has to start doing is getting their calls in there and getting set up sooner. The pace right now that the Aggies are trying to run on Texas is having an effect. They're not lined up ready to go.
6 straight runs for the Aggies. McDonald from the end line. It is going to be completed out to the 13-yard line and a 1st down. 2nd catch of the night for Scoggins.
See, Jenkins has the man-to-man coverage, and Paris Scoggins, as a bigger man, used that extra size to push off to get a little separation from Jenkins.
What an enormous 3rd down conversion for New Mexico State. And McDonald will keep it. Cuts inside the 15, gets about 4 yards. 2nd down and 6. Another tackle by Cedric Reed for the Longhorns. How do you think Texas has done, Ray, so far with missed tackles? A big problem last year.
That's the first one I saw in the ball game. It was that swing and a miss right there by Peter Jenkins. Texas 2nd in the Big 12 last year, averaging 8.6 missed tackles a ball game. You want to cut that in half.
Trying to call it 2nd and 7. Donald has a little room if he can get loose. He's got a lot of room. He's got a first down, doesn't slide, and is dumped by Thompson, but not until he gets out to the 31-yard line and gets some praise from his head coach. That's a gain of 14.
And what you have here is man-to-man coverage. And because of that, there's nobody home here on the backside. Once McDonald breaks that little tackle attempt, there's nobody there.
Donald has 33 yards in 5 attempts. 30 seconds almost left in this first quarter. Catch made by Joshua Bowen. He'll get outside the 35-yard line. Tackled by Adrian Phillips, the senior from Garland. Gain of 8, however, going to be 2nd down and a couple.
Nice job closing to the ball there by Adrian Phillips. Texas had 3 defenders, and the Aggies only had 2 blockers. So all Phillips had to do was hit the gas pedal and run inside out and make a good open field tackle, and that's what he did.
And New Mexico State is content to let the game clock run out. And at the end of 1 quarter, got to be a little bit surprised by this result. Texas at home against a New Mexico State team that won only 1 game last year. Manny Diaz's defense has done well. Mac Brown's got to find a fire under his offense, and quickly. A lot of places you can go by, get a bite to eat. A local beverage. Listen to little Stevie Ray and be all set in a rude mood for Austin, Texas. It's been a rude first quarter for the Longhorns. Doug Martin, the head coach there for New Mexico State. And one of the people he talked quite a bit about was the strength and conditioning coach, Don Decker, and what an impact he has had in a short period of time. And that could be one of the reasons why the Aggies are hanging in here after 1 quarter with no score. McDonald, little flip pass. Texas read it well, but bouncing off the tight end. That's a missed tackle. You see the size of Andrew Dean, number 89. 4-yard pickup that time. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
And it was Carrington Bindum who was trying to make that tackle, and he's only 180 pounds going after a guy that's a good 45, 55 pounds heavier than him.
Well, McDonald's hit on his last 6 passes. That's going to be a first down.
He's been impressive. After the initial play in the game where they got a delay, since that time he's been pretty solid.
Hang on to it here, and he has an edge. Dean with a great block, and McDonald will get hit right at the 50-yard line by Adrian Phillips to go to the field, and Kaylee.
Dave, you can't out-train poor nutrition. That's what Don Decker told me his philosophy is when working with this New Mexico State team. It's not just about the position-specific workouts he has them enrolled in the weight room. It's also about what they're eating. Their nutrition has been such an integral component of building this New Mexico State team.
All right, 2nd down and 2. Thank you, Kaylee. And on a hot day like this, temperatures in Austin today right around 100 in the middle of the day. 9th play of the drive coming up. But again, Las Cruces is not exactly cool in the summertime. There went the completions. There went another swat. And this time,
it's Quandre Diggs caught the corner, coming on a corner blitz here. As you see him show up right now, right in front of your screen, and he just times it perfectly. And guys are starting to realize that more and more, Dave, as they rush the quarterback. If you're not going to get there, then get your hands up and knock that ball down. And I take it to J.J. Watt of the Houston Texans has kind of opened a lot of eyes with 16 of them last year. That's why I call them swats.
3rd and 2. Donald under some pressure, gets it off. It's going to be another first down. Once again, Andrew Dean, the big tight end out of Camarillo, tackled by Peter Jenkins. That's a gain of 5, and the Aggies keep the football.
And they list Dean at 235. Here's the big fella right here. I'm wondering which leg they were weighing, because he looks a lot bigger than that. Just a little cell route inside, twirling it back outside, and the play action kept Jenkins held in there.
Play action for McDonald under pressure. No problem. It's Dean again. And he's shouldered out of bounds by Jackson Jeffcoat at around the 38-yard line. So that's a gain of 6.
That one might leave a mark there. Jeffcoat came and put a big hit on Dean. He said, all right, big fella, you've been running over the littler guys. Here comes a bigger guy to match up and give you a little knock for yourself.
8 of the last 9 for McDonald. You know what? I think Dean can take it, though. Old-fashioned option. McDonald on the key. Fumble the football. Diggs trying to fall on it for Texas. Looks like he's got it at around the 30-yard line. Reggie Wilson forced the fumble, and it's going to be Longhorn football.
Great play by Reggie Wilson coming down the line and then realizing, having the sense to see the ball out there. Here comes McDonald. Now watch, he doesn't have that ball put away. He's running option, and he never does take it and tuck it in one arm. He just keeps it seated in his paunch there, and by the time Wilson gets there, he's able to knock it away. And then Diggs tried to pick it up and run with it at first. He dribbled it a couple times, said, you know what, I'm just going to fall on this one.
Now we'll see how New Mexico State responds. This is a deflating moment when they had all the momentum in the game. We'll see how the Longhorns can reset. They go to Jonathan Gray, number 32, tailback. He'll get it. A little bit of a seam, gets out to the 35-yard line. It'll be about 4 yards short of a first down. It'll be 2nd down and 4 to go on a hot day in Austin, Texas.
Just want to correct myself. I believe Steve Edmonds is the one who knocked that fumble out on that last play. He had a hand in there as well.
On 2nd and 4, Ash. Nice catch by Shipley. He does have such wonderful hands. Knocked out of bounds on the Longhorn sideline for a first down by Darian Johnson. That's a gain of 9 yards.
That's a guy you need involved in your offense as much as possible. The leading receiver from last year. Get him the football.
There's the Gray underneath. You can see that develop. Juggling catch. He hangs on. And into New Mexico State territory. Pickup of 9. 2nd down and 1 coming up. Tackle by Bernard.
And they're going fast again, David. And as long as they don't put the ball on the ground, this offense can go this fast.
Nash looked deep downfield. Went through his progressions and goes underneath to Shipley. That's another first down for the Longhorns after a gain of 5.
Watch David Ash in his head position. Watch it. He's looking down the middle of the field. Nothing there. He knows where to dump it off. That's a veteran quarterback right there.
Quickly out of space. This is Johnson. Oh, if he had broken that tackle, it might have been a show. He's down to the 35-yard line. No, it's a gain of 7. Texas getting him in chunks. Bonilla with the tackle. It's going to be 2nd down and 3.
Finally, you get a sense this Texas offense is developing some rhythm. Haven't seen that until this drive.
You see the spot to snap, only 14 seconds there. Ash going to go deep in the end zone. Shipley's down there and it's overthrown. Good coverage that time by Darian Johnson, a senior from Fontana, California. 3rd down and 3.
Darian Johnson has played well, but you know, you're going to take a look at it. Just man-to-man on the outside, little stop and go. And Darian Johnson had such a big cushion, there was no way that one was going to work doomed from the start.
Longhorns are 0 for 3 in 3rd downs. Last year they hit 49%. We have whistles. Looks like we're going to have an Aggies timeout.
I think that's a fatigue timeout right there.
That leaves them with just 1 for the remainder of the first half. There's your score and time on the Longhorn Network. With Ray Bentley, I'm Dave Lamont and Kaylee Hartung on the sidelines. After the game wraps up, stay tuned for Texas Game Day Final, powered by Chevy Silverado. You can also watch online and now on your mobile phone for the Longhorn Network app. It's available free in the Apple App Store. So the Longhorns on the drive. Their first drive ended in a fumble. They were on their way in, and so it seemed. The 34 and 33. Jonathan Gray up the middle, lowered the shoulder, and delivered a hit. He's finally going to be brought down by Anthony Edwards and others. Gray says, what do you mean? I was never down. But it's going to be a 10-yard gain and a first down for the Longhorns.
Trey Hopkins with a great block. Watch big number 75 come across here and push his guy right out of the play. I don't think that knee ever did touch.
The whistle blew, and that's going to end it all. Ash looking end zone. Stunner steps, and a good tackle in an open field that time by the middle linebacker, Clint Bernard. Stops him after a 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
Clint Bernard is an interesting story. He played at a D2 program, walked on, played 8-man football in high school. And they said he just keeps showing up, making plays, earned a starting spot.
He's from Melrose, New Mexico.
Population 700.
Down the sideline, wide open Davis, and an interception. Is he in bounds? What a play by George Callender to pick that off. Davis was open, and Callender read it to steal the ball and get a second Aggies turnover if this play holds up.
That was an error by David Ash. That's one you have to put some pace on and hit it before that safety gets over there. He kind of put a little too much air under the football. I believe that's going to stand.
Yeah, you saw the foot go down in the end zone.
You know, he kind of floated that ball. That's one where you got to put a little smoke on it to avoid exactly this.
Is it possible, Ray, he just didn't see Callender?
I think that is exactly the problem with it. The Aggies are getting excited over there, and why wouldn't they?
Again, let's talk about, they had 9 turnovers forced by their defense last year. This is the second one in the first half of this game.
They had 4 games, Dave, where they didn't force a single turnover.
Now, I would like to know about the spot of the ball, because you see the foot come down here. That's in the end zone. That, in my mind, would be a touchback. At the moment, the ball is spotted inside the 1-yard line.
And the back end of the ball has to come out of the end zone for them to mark it in the field of play. Not the nose, the back end, the whole ball.
Just challenging the call that it would be a touchback.
And we will find out what the decision is from the replay booth when we return. And David Ash talking it over. Major Applewhite right there, the dark shirt. They were talking just before we came back, and here's why they're unhappy. Here is the ruling on the field from our referee, Cooper Castleberry. After the replay booth took a look during our break, they ruled this a touchback. The ball was caught in the end zone in New Mexico State, and their new quarterback for the afternoon, maybe for the rest of the night, King Davis III, a freshman from Mesquite, takes over. He'll begin with a handoff to Jeremy Morrison. No gain on the play. Stopped by Jordan Hicks. It'll be 2nd down and 10. What about Davis, Ray?
He is an exciting athlete. Throws the ball extremely well, spins it very nicely, is able to run. He just is awful green. You know, his progressions are number 1. You know, you look at your primary, it's 1 and run for him. That's it. I expect to see some fireworks before he's done.
It wasn't as if Andrew McDonald played poorly, but Davis was going to get some playing time tonight. How much remains a mystery. They'll get a yard there, and that's going to be all. You see Malcolm Brown, number 90, another tackle by Cedric Reed, number 88. So it's going to be 3rd down and 9. We might get to see Davis go through his progressions right here.
Well, he missed a read right there, as he should have pitched that ball. That was a very easy read. However, I think he wanted to hold that ball and cradle it and nurse it and carry it and take a hit one time to get that blood flowing and get things going here for himself.
You see McDonald, number 12, kept his hat on, staying in the game. New Mexico State, 50% so far on 3rd down. And they tried a trick play to snap it to the incoming. Maybe not.
No.
Maybe Jordan Bergstrom just got in the way. Sometimes you see that snap. That's like an old Bobby Bowden deal.
That's on the young quarterback again.
Yeah.
Watch his hand. He's going to shoot his hand out. That tells the center when to snap it. He went too early. And because of that, Bergstrom gets ear hold with the football.
I gave them too much credit for running a trick play. That was just a mess up.
Yeah, that was tricksy, all right.
And that's going to bring in our punter, Cale Chapman-Brown. And DeJay Johnson now stepping out at the 40-yard line for his first punt return of the night. Lefty, kind of a funny spin on this one. And Johnson trying to create something out of nothing. Didn't do a bad job at all. It's about a 9-yard return out to the 45-yard line following the 43-yard punt. That had an awkward spin on it. So we'll see how the Longhorns can recover. Their offense has turned the ball over twice in the first half.
Mac Brown on the left side of your screen, his 2 coordinators at work trying to figure out what's going on. The coaching staff for Texas is into it right now because they're having issues with the miscues in this ball game. It started out early in the first drive, the fumble by Mike Davis. That stopped that drive. Then you get a 4th down, and they aren't able to convert there. Then David Ash can't handle the lower snap, and then the defense doesn't get out on the field in time. You know, all these things happening, and then the interception by Calendar, and a lot of problems right now across the board for the Longhorn squad.
So they go to this pod package, and they hand it off to Jay Johnson. He cuts back at the 45 and into New Mexico State territory. Of course, we've been here several times before. That's about a 7-yard pickup. And the Aggies' top returning tackler from last year, Davis Cazares, number 31, on the stop.
And here's a graphic look at the miscues tonight. The 2 drops, penalties, pre-snap, the turnovers. That's the huge one. As Texas has stopped themselves tonight.
Joe Bergeron now in a tailback. And they pitch it to Johnson, and boy, tremendous loss at the 45-yard line, and a little bit of a dance. And that might even get a flag by Trayshawn Nixon. That was pretty close to taunting. No flag, however, by the officials, but it's now going to be 3rd down. After a loss of 5, they're going to need 10 again.
And Nixon, nobody blocked Nixon. And so I don't know if you're going to dance when you don't get blocked. Maybe if you beat a block, make a play, a tackle for a loss. That might call for a dance.
I was surprised they let that go without a penalty. Nash, 3rd and long, right to the mark. Davis, that'll be a 1st down. Here's the coach for the Aggies, who's extremely unhappy about something.
Here's the dance. Well, that's a different kind of dance going on right there between Calendar and Davis.
Aggies a little feisty. There's a slot intercepted. A 3rd turnover as Bernard picks it up. That is the 3rd time the Longhorns have turned the ball over in this half. That pass was deflected at New Mexico State again. And a tale of 2 sidelines. Look at the 2 sidelines and the emotion of the crowd. All the emotion in that little knot on the far side.
And here, Loudermilk, right, you're going to see in the nose guard, just working, but he gets the hand up late. You got to keep your eyes on the quarterback as you rush the passer. That's the key to getting a swat. And when you swat the ball up in the air, good things usually happen for the defense.
So from their own 36-yard line, back in a quarterback is Andrew McDonald. Under some pressure, hung in, throws. Good hit by Diggs, but not until a 1st down by Jarrell Brown, a junior from Inglewood, California, just outside of Los Angeles. Has a gain of 17 and into Longhorn territory at the 47.
And Manny Diaz has decided that he's going to try to heat up this offense right now. He's bringing blitzes in a much more regular fashion than when this game started.
It's amazing that we are now more than halfway through the 2nd quarter without anyone reaching the end zone. That time the coordination a lot better on the play. They go to Betancourt. He'll get across the 45 to the 44. Short gain of 3. 2nd down and 7 coming up.
They brought Michael Thompson, the free safety, down in a blitz look on that particular play. I just think that's what Manny needs to do. You got to make a big play to turn this momentum on right now from your defense.
And the Texas defense has played well. It's the Longhorns offense that has put Manny Diaz's defense in a bad spot. They go away from him, though, but out in space, and a nice move that time by Joshua Bowen. One-on-one, he gains 5, just a couple of yards short of the 1st down.
And Adrian Phillips is going to miss a tackle here, and he's got a nice line. To see how he breaks down too far away from the ball carrier. You got to get up into him and then break down, or don't break down at all and just take a shot.
3rd, and they're going to call it a yard. Morrison back in, a tailback, number 25. through the air. And it will be a first down. Catch made by Bergstrom as he's driven out of bounds in front of the Texans, right in front of Manny Diaz, as a matter of fact, after a gain of 4.
Quandre Diggs blitzed again off of the slot right there, and an excellent read and recognition by Andrew McDonald. When you got that blitz coming off the edge from the slot, all you got to do is throw behind it. If you get it past that guy, the coverage is coming from a safety who's back 10 yards away. You're going to be able to get the ball out there on time and make the play. And McDonald, if you recognize it, and he has.
This could be a trick play with Betancourt. Looked like he wanted to throw the football, tucks it, and runs. It gets inside the 30, and that's going to be about an 8-yard gain. Reggie Wilson on the stop. I wonder if they were trying to throw it to McDonald.
Yeah, no doubt they were. They were trying to go to the backside, but the Texas defense, the secondary, they did their job. They hung in there, they had the coverage, and they forced him to put it under his arm and run with it.
Looks like he ran into Shiro Davis, number 1, getting some playing time in the defensive end position, but it's still going to be 2nd and 2. Down to the 15-yard line. That's going to be a completion by Scoggins. The tight ends are what they call the Y position for New Mexico State, playing well. That's a gain of 12.
And what happened here is they're not getting anything on the tight end. You let a tight end free release right there like that, nobody even touches him. That's easy pickings.
Stumbles around a little bit and fell forward for most of that yardage. He still's going to pick up about 5. Wilson kind of tripped him up there. It'll be 2nd and 5.
Yeah, that actually should have been a penalty on Reggie Wilson, because that's tripping. You're not allowed to do that. You can't just shoot your legs out and tackle a guy, but that's exactly what Reggie did, and he got away with it.
New Mexico State has run 10 more plays and gained 26 more yards and had the ball for what's going to be 10 more minutes here by the time they snap it. Coming out late to the field is Bergstrom, number 11, sets up in the slot. They're going to call it 2nd down and 6. McDonald gets hit once, gets hit twice, and fights for a yard. It'll be 3rd and 5. Jordan Hicks, number 3, finally put a halt to that play. And I notice here, Ray, the hurry-up philosophy for New Mexico State is on hiatus.
Yeah, I think they established what they wanted to with that, just getting their blood flowing, getting things going. And now that they're in the red zone, they're actually doing a great job of changing the play. Greg Brandon watching from upstairs, seeing what's going on, making that change. They're getting it from the sideline, and they're executing.
Heavy pressure from the edges. McDonald lobs one toward the end zone, and it's caught in the back of the end zone for a touchdown by Joshua Bowen.
That's unbelievable throw. Excuse me, Dave.
That is McDonald's first Division I touchdown pass. First Division I touchdown for Joshua Bowen, and a stunning start with 2:28 to go. That New Mexico State has the first touchdown. And Doug Martin had to be a salesman as much as a coach in Las Cruces, Ray, and at the moment the sales pitch is working. A bit of a stunned crowd, to say the least. Perfect throw. Pretty good coverage, but a better catch by Joshua Bowen. The pressure is on the Longhorns offense to respond. On Saturday, the Longhorn football team travels to Provo, Utah for its first away game of the season against BYU. You can catch the Director's Chair edition of the game with multiple angles of the action exclusively on LA Jam. Coverage begins at 4 Central with Texas Game Day, then Texas BYU Director's Chair edition at 6 Central, both on Longhorn Network. And for those Longhorn fans who are going to make that trip, you'll find it to be very pretty up there. Well, New Mexico State kicking off for the first time. It'll be a shorty, keeping it away from the Texas speed. Up man will take it. And Texas has speed everywhere, apparently, as that's Dalton Santos taking it back into great field position. after a 23-yard return. But how about McDonald, Ray, on that drive? 5 for 5, 48 yards.
Yeah, let's take a look at the touchdown. Here's his receiver right there, Bowen. There's Mikael Thompson. He's got the coverage. You're going to get 2 inside routes to create a little bit of a pick, and then that corner route right here. Watch this thing develop, and then it takes the perfect throw because Thompson's on the coverage. He just never gets his head back around and doesn't get his hand between the hands of the receiver. And I tell you what, McDonald paid for that one. Bind him, put him on his back, but he'll pay that price anytime.
Longhorns avert themselves with 3 turnovers. They go short here. Catch made by Jeff Swaim, the junior from Chico, California, for a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Longhorns do have all of their timeouts in this half. Middle, deep, caught. Breakaway opportunity here for John Harris. Touchdown, Texas.
That's David Ash learning a lesson from that interception he threw to Callender. Very similar route right here, and instead of him floating the ball, he zips it in. Watch him throw a dart here, a fastball right, bam, tight right there. He gets it before the safety's able to come over the top, and then after that, it's just turn on the jets for Mr. Harris.
Let's not forget to credit the kickoff return by the up man, Dalton Santos. The 23-yard return took that from the 20 to the 43, gave Texas great field position, and in a matter of mere moments, they have tied this game up and brought the cheer back to the sellout crowd here at DKR. John Harris, only 2 catches last year. He starts 2013 memorably. Talk about David Ash throwing down the field more often. You talked, Ray, about his pocket presence, and also he learned from his mistake on the interception of the drive before.
That's key, Dave, because it was a very similar route, opposite side of the field, and this time he put some smoke on the ball and kept it away from that safety, and you saw the result.
So Nick Rose talked about how powerful his leg has been. He doesn't make it very exciting for the other return team. Joseph Matthews, Brandon Benford awaiting. And it's going to be fumbled. That's actually Adam Shapiro. He works his way out, and he'll get it out to the 24-yard line. The bad return at all. All right, take us through the TD.
All right, first of all, you're going to have John Harris is right down here. The safety that he's really kind of working against right there is Anthony Edwards. Watch Edwards. He's going to go ahead and kind of bite with his eyes, first of all, and move to the straight back, and he doesn't open up, and then he comes flat across, and that creates the room. And then the pass by David Ash was thrown on a line. That's exactly what he needed. He learned his lesson, and the result is the first 6 points of this season for the Longhorns.
So now the challenge back to Andrew McDonald. The Aggies have just 1 timeout. How aggressive will New Mexico State be? The answer, at least based on this play, not very. Morrison. Now, if you're Texas, do you think about calling timeouts?
Absolutely. I would use one right now. I'm surprised that Mack Brown is.
30-second timeout.
Oh, he is. Good. Absolutely. Use those timeouts. Get your offense a chance. They seem to be heated up, humming a little bit. Get him the ball back if you can. And one other note, that's the, I believe, 5th play in a row. Manny Diaz has dialed up a blitz. He's changed his mind about that.
Well, you just saw Mack Brown on the field for a moment. You can watch Mack Brown, too, at the podium for all the latest news on the team. You can hear it right from the man himself on the Mack Brown press conference Monday at 11 a.m. exclusively on Longhorn Network. You can also watch live online and now on your mobile phone with either the Longhorn Network app, with the Longhorn Network app, I should say, available free in the Apple App Store. Yeah, throwing it back at the offense is what Texas is doing with the blitzes and with the timeouts. Going to force New Mexico State to maybe get out of the shell a little bit.
Him again.
Donald keep. No chance there. And he's not going to win the matchup with Jackson Jeffcoat very often. No gain.
That's just a solid read by Jackson Jeffcoat. He kept his shoulders square, parallel with the line of scrimmage. And because of that, he's able to take both away the run, that handoff, the fake there on this read option, and also take care of the quarterback. That's excellent technique.
Yeah, Jeffcoat didn't play very much last year at all. And of course, Texas lost the talent, some great talent on defense. Losing Caro, losing Acho, losing Okafor. Okafor went to the Arizona Cardinals and is still with them. Acho a couple of years back, I should say. And the Kenny Vaccaro lost their leading tackler from last year. He was the 15th pick in the draft. That's how highly he was regarded. And Jackson Jeffcoat may well be a first-day player when his career is finished at Texas. He has 5 tackles already tonight. Blitz. They go underneath to the bubble. One tackle broken, but not enough. Well short of the first down. Brown made the catch. So 2-yard gain there. 4th down. Texas takes their final timeout with 1:23 to go.
Steve Edmond did a nice job. When you get a little screen play like that, you want to coop and contain. So the one outside backer was Edmond. Even though he missed, he forced it back inside where Jordan Hicks was waiting to go ahead and finish it off. It's good work by the group of linebackers together.
Well, Cale Chapman Brown becomes the most important New Mexico State Aggie at the moment. The left-footed punter from Sydney, Australia, punted 70 times last year.
Michael Thompson almost blocked the first punt of the ball game here today. Let's keep an eye on him, see if Texas is going to go after this thing.
Hey, watch out for that guy right there, too. Jay Johnson. New Mexico State has the unusual misfortune of punting more often than any team in the last 7 years. No pressure this time. They play for the return. This is rocked. Fair catch, 33-yard line. 38 yards on the punt. Well, let's review, put the eyes of the Longhorn Network on David Ash and his evening so far.
He started out a little rough, Dave, as we saw. You know, he's had trouble handling the football, throws this interception, and boy, you know, it ain't going good for him. What does he do, though? He hangs in there. Here's the other pick on a tip ball, but he learned from his mistakes. And then on this next similar type play, he throws a strike to Harris. And to see him overcome the adversity like that, that's what they need from David Ash. That is leadership.
Bergeron on the backfield, play action fake to him. Ash sees the blitz, throws, got a man right there. That's Johnson, 35-30. There's the speed to Jay Johnson. Can they catch him? No, they can't. Touchdown, Texas.
One of the few times the Aggies decided to blitz tonight, and they got burnt trying it. Jay Johnson to the house, and David Ash has done heated up. Here it is. You see just a little token play action and then a strike. But the corner is way too far off there. That's Cameron Fuller. And when Johnson gets the ball in open space, forget about it.
I guess the thing is you don't want him getting behind you, so you play off. But if he gets in front of you, he can still beat you with that kind of speed.
Yeah, it's a fine line. You know, they had a guy underneath actually playing it too because they blitzed the other safety and a linebacker up the middle. And so they did try to have one underneath, one over the top. But Ash throws the perfect pass, and then Johnson just splits him, and then with the speed, he runs away.
Well, that is 2 incredibly quick drives for Texas, and what a good night for David Ash. 2 picks and now 2 touchdown throws. And Jay Johnson, there's the speed. Now, this is sophomore from Pflugerville. His name kept coming up in those coaches' meetings and coming up, and you knew that they knew what they had.
That's the guy that want to get the ball in his hands, and you just saw why right there. Now nothing but smiles on the sideline there between Major Applewhite and his quarterback, David Ash.
There'll be a lot of those face-to-face meetings between those two all season long. One of the reasons, and Mac Brown has talked about it all in off season, he played the position. He played the position here. He understands the demands of Texas football, and I want him down there communicating with my quarterback.
You mentioned Mac Brown. Great decision, him using the timeouts to create the opportunity for the offense.
Big up opportunity again here. Shapiro at the 10. And they'll get it out to the 20-yard line. So with no timeouts left for New Mexico State. For Texas, I should say, New Mexico State having just one, they may just try to run a play or two and get out of here.
You know, you mentioned Major Applewhite, former quarterback here. He has been in those shoes, and he's been successful in those shoes. So who better than him to mentor a current Longhorn quarterback? And not only him, but Vince Young was here in the offseason getting his degree, and he spent time with David Ash. And I believe Colt McCoy also has a relationship.
He came
with
down
David Ash
to get ready for San Francisco and for the NFL and spent some time. Absolutely. The guy's paying back the program. Always good. Stepped out of bounds. A catch made there by Jerome Brown. So just when you thought New Mexico State might go ahead and just take the 7-point deficit into the locker room, they may try to move the ball here. Gain of 8, 2nd and 2.
Well, they want to be careful to not have this thing. They played such a great first half. You don't want to take any chances on letting Texas get another opportunity at points before this half runs out.
And they run the fake on the throw and go to Betancourt, who gets right to the mark at the 31-yard line. Another tackle for Cedric Reed. He and Jeffcoat from those defensive end positions, 88 and 44 respectively, have been strong. Waiting to see if the officials are going to call it a first down or not. They have called it a first down. It will change a little bit later. The sideline, safest place to go, and once again another catch by Brown. He smartly got the ball out of bounds. It's about a 6-yard pickup. Bind him on coverage that time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Greg Brandon is living dangerously right now, and Doug Martin might want to tell him, hey, don't do anything too crazy here.
McDonald, pocket collapsing. Under pressure, he hung in there and got off a decent throw to Jordan Bergstrom. Stopping the clock with 34 seconds to go. It's 3rd and 4.
This is nice movement in the pocket here. You see McDonald get away from the rush and then reset. His eyes never went away from being downfield looking for receivers. A lot of young quarterbacks, they see the rush coming, they get their eyes on that, and that becomes a mistake.
This is his first start at the Division I level. McDonald last year was 1 for 3 with 3 yards in the game against the Ohio Bobcats. They go on the ground. Betancourt actually ran into his own man that time. Does not get the first down. It will be 4th and a couple. But that will also be undoubtedly the end of the half.
Yeah, no, don't have to snap it again. Texas is out of timeouts, so they're going to let this one roll.
It'll be interesting the messages between these two coaches, Ray. If you're Doug Martin right there, what is your message to your team at halftime?
Well, you say, great job, fellas. That's what I'm talking about. Now let's keep this going because there's still 30 minutes left. Now on the other side, Mac Brown, hey, we woke up, guys. Now we got it going. You keep it positive there as well.
Let's get down to the field and Kaylee.
Dave, Coach Brown, how can you explain what David Ash learned from those early miscues that allowed him to execute those last 2 touchdown drives?
Well, the first one was a great play by them. He's a little bit late on the throw, but they changed coverages right at the end. The second one was a guy that wasn't rushing. He hit his hand up, so it's just a very unfortunate thing. But you can't turn the ball over 3 times. Mike Davis hadn't been hit much with his injuries, so he's got to protect the ball better. And the 3 turnovers were the difference in the first half for us.
What concerns you most about those 3 turnovers?
That we had 3 turnovers, and we got to get rid of them, all 3 of them, Kaylee. But I thought David came back, had 2 great series. They're wadding up the line of scrimmage. We're going to have to throw the ball. We're trying to work on the running game some, but we'll have to mix it in. But there's a lot of passes out there to be had, and we've got to keep throwing it and still play good defense.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Dave.
Kaylee, thank you very much. For the first 27 plays, the Longhorns had 136 yards. The last 2, 120, and 2 touchdowns. They have been tough enough so far. The Longhorns with the lead. Studio will take it from here. 14-7, Texas at halftime on Longhorn Network. Welcome you back to DKR, the Tower in Austin. And an interesting first half, to say the least. A lot of folks thought New Mexico State would be run back to Las Cruces in a matter of about 5 or 6 minutes. But instead, they led this game 7-0 until Texas caught fire with 2 big plays back-to-back, 120 yards worth. And the Longhorns took the lead into the dressing room. With Ray Bentley, I'm Dave Lamont. We'll hear from Kaylee in a moment. What an unusual half that was, particularly from the Longhorns' perspective.
Yeah, it was kind of a combination of things. I think we documented the mistakes, the miscues that Texas had in that first half. Not only the turnovers, but also some drops, some penalties, some untimely things. But then all of a sudden they caught fire there at the end. And the other part of that, Dave, is you got to give the Aggies a bunch of credit because they flew around. They played almost error-free football and have hung in here. And I don't know if they're going to go away here in the second half. We'll have to wait and see.
And Doug Martin, his first game as the head coach of New Mexico State after a year at Boston College. They start with an onside kick. Unbelievable. Do they have it, though? Let's see what the officials decide as they come in to separate the bodies. How about that for a bold start?
That is what you call coming in here to try and win a ball game and steal one. And a great decision.
It didn't work, as you see. But why not? Benson on the recovery.
Well, that thing was loose for a little while there. But if you're going to try and win, especially on the road when you're overmatched, you got to make some plays. You got to take some chances, roll the dice like that. And Doug Martin, he rolled them. Fortunately, it didn't work out for him.
And you know what? You take a look at that record from last year, 1-11. Why not bring your dice with you on the team playing? David Ash starts it off with a completion to Jackson Shipley. He's out of bounds at the 43-yard line. And now, after all that drama, here's Kaylee Hartung.
Dave, you cannot overstate the impact that those 3 forced turnovers by New Mexico State had in this game and for the Aggies. I spoke with Coach Doug Martin. He has said all along he wants this team to play fast and physical with emotion and discipline, and that's what they've done. Those turnovers illustrated that.
Thank you, Kaylee. That's going to be another catch for Jackson Shipley. Darian Johnson on the stop, a first down for the Longhorns.
You know, Mac, when he spoke with Kaylee at the half there, he said, we're going to have to throw the football. They're going to have to throw to set up the run, and that's exactly what they've come out here to do thus far. Get that pistol T formation.
Play action fake to Johnson. Ash is looking deep down the field. He'll elude the rush. Nice running by David Ash in a crowd. Out of bounds and around the 33-yard line. We do have a Longhorn player behind the play injured. That is the tight end, Jeff Swain. And another player for New Mexico State lost a helmet. That's Clint Bernard, their talented middle linebacker. He will have to come out.
Swain throws an incredible block on this, takes out 2 guys after he sees his quarterback scramble. Right here he is, right in front of you, right there, watch, bam! He takes out 2, and it cost him a little bit, knocked him a little woozy as he's getting helped off the field. But he threw a one whale of a block.
Something to note here, Dylan Davis, number 32, is in at middle linebacker. Now as you take one more look, that is...
There it is, that's 2 for 1 special right there.
That's why the helmet came off. And that puts 32, Dylan Davis, into the game. And we'll see the senior from Ventura, California, for the first time a middle linebacker for the Aggies. Straight ahead. And inside the 30 to the 28-yard line goes the sophomore, Jonathan Gray, for a gain of 5, 2nd and 5. Coming up, Willie Mobley on the stop. Now, excuse me, that's the first down.
Well, over there, excuse me, Dave, getting a little attention. That's one of those where the concussion syndrome, the symptoms from that is what they're looking at him about.
Well, Mac Brown mentioned me yesterday. He said, you know, I don't know how he's going to react. This will be his first time out of the tunnel in this stadium, 100,000 people walking through the smoke. I don't know what he's going to do. Like a pretty good indication right there. Johnson. He'll get inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. 2nd and 6 coming up after the gain of 4.
That formation is Mac Brown called it a pod for us when we talked to him about it. He said they can do it not only in the backfield like they have right here. Here's your pod. They can also move that out and do different things with it. But it's great for running the football and then play action.
Johnson again. He's got Gray as the lead blocker. Got a block. Johnson got the seal, and he's got 6.
Greg Daniels, who came in for Swain as the tight end, threw the key block on the edge to make this thing happen. Here he is. You see him right there. Knocks down the contain man. Boy, you got good blocks all over the place. Donald Hawkins had his man, took him for a nice long ride. Good stuff by that offensive line.
Also, number 1 Mike Davis was in there too to help with that seal. So Texas suddenly has been unstoppable after a very slow start on offense. They have scored on their last 3 possessions to take charge of this game. And for the second time tonight, the sophomore DJ Johnson finds the end zone. 6 plays, 53 and 212, a 24-yard touchdown run. Could we be seeing a star born tonight in college football with DJ Johnson? We were told he was going to see a lot of the football, Ray. 15.2 yards per touch.
Yeah, I'd give it to him every play if that's what we're seeing here. And he is so good. He's so explosive. Just an incredible athlete. And then he has the gift of the vision to see where he has to go and then the gas pedal to get there.
2 touchdowns tonight. 1 a long pass, much of it yards after catch. And then that 24-yarder, which, by the way, was blocked perfectly. That looked like a practice play that was blocked so well. Bear with the 1. And a 25 to the 30-yard line.
Take a look at this touchdown here. A little inside handoff. The block by Jonathan Gray right there. Knocks the corner. Cameron Fuller right off of his feet. Also got the outstanding block from Greg Daniels, who was also lined up in the backfield, and Superman unveils.
You know, sometimes coaches tell us something and it doesn't quite happen, and you kind of get a little cynical. Oh, they're just no. Mac Pound and Major Applewhite could not stress enough how much playing time and how much of the ball Johnson was going to see tonight. How do the Aggies respond? McDonald pump fake, open receiver. And a chance here for New Mexico State to get some yards is Joseph Matthews. The junior out of Tucson took advantage of a missed tackle and gets a first down.
Here you're going to see just the route coming up by Matthews. Just gets behind the corner and sits down, keeping himself away from the safety, Adrian Phillips. And then Phillips took a bad angle, and Matthews was able to shake that tackle.
27-yard gain. They go to the right again with a pass. And again, good blocking downfield by Matthews, as Bowen is the beneficiary of that. And in 2 plays, the Aggies have gotten it all the way down to the Texas 21.
That's a great job of blocking by Matthews. First he runs, bind him off, and then he locks up in front of him for the run behind him.
Well, now, in case anybody thought the Aggies were going to fold, maybe not.
Greg Brandon is an excellent play caller, and we've seen some real doozies tonight.
Donald looks left under pressure, and that'll be incomplete. Wasn't going to gain anything anyway. Joshua Bowen was hit right away by Quandre Diggs.
As Cedric Reed makes this play, he's been dominant throughout the evening, and Dada Richards has not been able to handle him. As Reed forced that throw to be wobbly, and that gave Diggs time to close and make a hit.
Donald, middle of the field. Is it an interception? Waiting for the ruling if it's going to be a pick by Adrian Phillips or it's going to be an incomplete pass, and it's ruled an interception.
I'm sure this will be looked at and reviewed, but right now this is exactly what the Texas defense ordered, because the Aggies have been driving it down the field. Right here is Thompson up here, or excuse me, Phillips. I think he caught it, got his hands underneath that thing.
Another look. No buzz from the replay booth.
Yeah, his hands were underneath that. That's a good catch. Got away with a little wrap around the stomach on Matthews, but he got his hands underneath this. Well, even though it seemed to appear to have touched the ground, his left hand was underneath the football.
Phillips had 2 interceptions last year, the senior from Garland. And here comes the expected buzz down from the booth.
Yeah, that last look right there might have changed my view on this.
So Don Caprell is the replay official. He'll take a look at this while we step aside. Cooper Castleberry is the man on the left. He's the referee. You see, of course, the two head coaches there. And we'll decide here, Ray Bentley, what do you think? We've had a lot of looks at it.
I don't know, man. You know what? Every look I saw, I'm convinced he caught the ball. You see his left hand securely underneath the ball, but then you look at this one and watch the tip of the football right there. It appears to be on the ground, but I say he caught it.
All right, here is Cooper Castleberry.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
And of course, there's always a coded language with replay. Ruling on the field stands means we can't find enough evidence to overturn it. Confirmed means we were right all along. So it's going to be Texas football after the interception by Adrian Phillips. He'll take over at the 12-yard line.
You got to kind of add those different looks up and then try to determine, what happened. And it's hard to do. And when you can't do it, the standard is indisputable. Video evidence. That one had to stay.
Malcolm Brown gets the time at tailback. He has the football right now. He's going to pick up maybe a yard. And that's going to be all second down and 9. It has been a tale of two offenses for Texas so far tonight. See the first 5 drives hurt by the turnovers. They've evened it. 3-3.
And David Ash has shown once again he can rise from the ashes. That same formation he scored a touchdown on.
Johnson again. Well, he spun right into the arms of Davis Cazares, the top tackler last year for the Aggies. Not much of a gain there. 3rd down and 8 coming up.
Cazares has been relatively silent tonight. That was a good example of how he plays football, though. I mean, he butted up Johnson and just took care of business. Finished that tackle with the leg drive. His face mask in the chest of the ball carrier. That's a textbook right there.
Screen here for the middle. Got some room with Brown to the 30-yard line. Malcolm Brown breaks in and he's knocked down. Tripped up by Cazares, but not until a big gain all the way out to the Texas 45-yard line of 30 yards.
Watch the defensive line is just going to rush upfield. They never recognize screen. You got 3 guys running after the quarterback and another one on the ground, and that offensive line got out there and took care of business.
Ash looked deep. Now he's just going to take off, and he's got room. He's got a 1st down. He's got a lot of yardage. Ash down the sideline, gets a block from Shipley, and Ash will score.
Jackson Shipley actually got 2 blocks. He knocked a couple of guys out of the way, and David Ash just kept running. He couldn't believe it was opening up in front of him, and he just ran down that sidelines for 6 quick.
That one just snuck through, but David Ash, I think this Ray was starting to be a pass play, but Ash just tucked it.
Yeah, he's looking to throw the football. Nothing there. He does a great job with his vision to find the seam to scramble. And watch Jackson Shipley get the 2 blocks there. He blocked Darian Johnson and Davis Cazares. Watch Shipley turn from a receiver to a blocker. Okay, I'm going to help my quarterback. And man, right there, a little double bump to clear the way.
Well, it's been a big play night for David Ash. 54-yard touchdown pass, 66-yard touchdown pass, and now that 55-yard touchdown run. Let's go back to something, Ray, you said at the top of the show. For those who might have missed it, you think David Ash could be where in the Big 12 as quarterback?
I think he's the best quarterback in the Big 12, and I think he's top 5 in the country, and I'm not sure who the other 4 are just yet. I think he's outstanding. He proved it at the end of the year last year, and then an amazing performance in the bowl victory in the Alamo Bowl, where he was 9 of 11 with 2 touchdowns and a 4th quarter comeback, where I think that settled him once and for all, gave him the confidence, and now it's just a matter of going out and turning it loose and playing, and that's what he's done these last 4 drives.
That Alamo Bowl game has been talked about by the coaches as a major turning point. They looked at it as the start of the 2013 season. And a Virtuous run out here by Adam Shapiro. He'll get through the 20. He's a very effective kick returner to the 26-yard line. So for New Mexico State, about, 45 minutes ago in real time, this game was looking pretty good for them. They were up 7-0. Texas was at times very clumsy on offense. It has gone the other way. How do you stop it?
I'm not sure how you stop it because it has tipped big time. What's happened to them is the depth of Texas has started to take effect in this ball game, and the Aggies are getting worn out a little bit. And then the other part of that is the Texas offense is no longer stopping themselves. They're executing.
Yeah, 28-0 run over just a dozen plays. McDonald again going to the right. Again on the tight end, Andrew Dean. He's been good tonight for New Mexico State. Short gain of about 3. Sherrod Evans, the junior from Sugar Land, knocks him out of bounds.
Yeah, this is a key critical drive if the Aggies have any intentions of making this a ball game, keeping this being a ball game here in the second half, because Texas, the offense is on fire right now. The Aggies offense has to respond.
And they were on their way to responding. At one point, they had a fumble by McDonald. It's going to end up being a huge play in this game. And this is Jeremy Morrison, just short of the first down. Third down, about a yard and a little bit more than that. Another tackle for 88, Cedric Reed.
And another missed tackle for the Longhorns as they've had too many. Sherrod Evans was in the hole there and had a chance to get Morrison behind the line of scrimmage, and Jeremy put a little move on.
Umpire putting the halt. The umpire posing for the Heisman there.
To match substitutions before you can snap.
A lot of shuffling by the Longhorns. That pass behind the receiver, trying to get it to Bowen. Could not do it. Adrian Phillips was in coverage. A better pass. Bowen might have had that for the first down.
Phillips closes so quickly. Explodes out of his back pedal. And boy, if he had his eyes around, he might have come up with another interception there.
So Quandre Diggs stands about the 29-yard line. Seems pretty good punts out of Kale, C-A-Y-L-E, Chapman Brown from Sydney, Australia.
I was reading there's 15 punters in Division FBS football that are from Australia.
Pretty good kick. Diggs driven back inside the 20, and he'll take the fair catch at the 18-yard line. David Ash is suddenly on fire. Big plays with his arm and with his feet. He'll bring the Longhorns offense back out when we return to DKR on the Longhorns opener on the Longhorn Network. After the game wraps up, stay tuned. Those folks right there in that beautiful tent get you ready. Texas Game Day Final, powered by Chevy Silverado. You can also watch online and now on your mobile phone with the Longhorn Network app. You can find that for free in the Apple App Store. We'd like to welcome our new friends from Time Warner Cable and all the customers there who have picked up the Longhorn Network in the last 24 hours. We're delighted to have you. With Ray Bentley, I'm Dave Lamont. Kelly Hartung on the sidelines. A beautiful night in Austin. Yeah, it's warm, but it's okay. The end of August. Of course, it's going to be hot here.
Right. Great night to paint up and come out to a football game.
Students just got back in a few days ago. They're ready and roaring. Of course, you're always going to have the Longhorn faithful here to watch their Texas team against New Mexico State. A game Aggie squad so far, but it's getting out of their hands. Malcolm Brown, number 28, the tailback. Nash got one good block. Scored with his feet last time. And he gets flipped here. Nothing dirty about that. Cazares on the stop to gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
David Ash has really made a turnaround. You look at how he started the ball game with those 2 interceptions and not a whole lot of production, and then since he's been about perfect.
On the ground, Brown sets his feet and runs right into the middle of the defense. And there is number 91, Calvin Cruz, a senior from Littleton, Colorado, not far outside of Denver, and there with a stop. Third down coming up there, and the Longhorns need 3.
This is a big down for the Aggie defense to get off the field.
Ray, they've been getting off the field fast. Sometimes those drives only last
right.
1 or 2 plays.
Not the way they want to, though. Bring the blitz again.
They're not getting off the field here unless somebody gets. You know what? They are going to get off the field because Malcolm Brown is going to take this all the way for another big play Texas touchdown. 74 yards. Malcolm down the sidelines that time. And David Ash's numbers, you forget about the trouble he was having early in the game. It's forgotten.
Amazing. 3 touchdown throws in his last 7 attempts, which all have been complete.
And you see the speed of the Longhorns, too, beginning to really pay off. This is a deep and fast football team. David Ash, 54-yard touchdown pass, 66-yard touchdown pass, 55-yard touchdown pass, now a 74-yard touchdown connection. Best advice for New Mexico State? Better call Saul. Ash in the second half, you would call that flawless. Even the perfectionist that he is would have a good time enjoying this half. 119 yards passing, a 55-yard touchdown run. 3 plays, 3 rushes for 65, a 35-0 run. All 5 touchdowns, 5 scoring plays occurred in a span of 16 plays.
And the most impressive thing, Dave, is the shaky start that he had. That this whole offense had, and yet he hung in there, continued to chop wood, and now they're knocking down trees.
Shapiro's going to run it out for a couple of yards deep. This time he takes it to the left, finds a little gap, and again gets out of the 25 and 26-yard line before he is tripped up by Alex De La Torre. And there's flags flying as we get ready to show you that last touchdown.
Well, there's the guy who I think had coverage on this, Kalei A'alua, because you're going to see these 3 linebackers all blitz. And so the only one that can cover the back out of the backfield, Malcolm Brown, would be a peel technique by that outside rusher. That's where he sees that back release. He's got to peel off of his pass rush and cover that up. Otherwise, there's nobody there, and that's exactly what happened in that play. There was nobody there to cover Malcolm Brown.
Ray, we've got 2 flags down, one at the 19-yard line on the near sideline, one just outside the numbers on the 36, also on the near sideline. We might have 2 penalties here for Cooper Castleberry's crew.
During the return, an illegal low block by number 28 of the kicking team. Correction, number 29. After the play, a dead ball personal foul against number 8 of the kicking team. Both penalties will be enforced. First down.
Well, there's some of the mistakes that Mack Brown talked about that he doesn't like to see. Any coach, of course, would say that. So some significant field position being picked up here by the Aggies, and the ball will be marked at New Mexico State's 42-yard line. And now they're going to keep going. They marked off one.
There's 2 of these bad boys.
Yeah, they're going to mark off all the way. Look at this. At the 43-yard line of the Longhorns.
And Sherrod Evans had the low hit. You can't hit a wedge block or a blocker low when you cover a kick. And then after the play, it was Jackson Shipley, number 8 is what they called. I don't know why he's covering kicks. I think it
that's
must be
Aaron Benson.
Okay,
it is number 8. Benson, who is the one who recovered the onside kickoff earlier. So he's had a bit of an impact, good and bad, on special teams for the Longhorns. 1st and 10, McDonald. Spins, looking for Dean underneath. There he is. Another catch for Dean. He is hit right away by Diggs. What a great tackle. Not much there, maybe 2, 2nd and 8.
This is how you come up and tackle people. Diggs, he's done going high on the big fella. We saw him get steamrolled earlier in the ball game by the tight end, Andrew Dean. This time he goes a little bit lower to chop him down.
McDonald having to ad-lib after a wayward snap, no gain. And closing fast, Kendall Thompson, the junior from Carthage. Make the stop, 3rd and 8.
That's a nice scrape and close to the ball by Thompson to get him down. The Aggies have slowed their pace considerably on the offensive side of the ball.
Delay game unless they call a timeout. And looks like they did get the timeout.
Calls their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. 30 seconds.
Well, 50 years ago, 1963, for Texas football, the Longhorns, they celebrate a national championship that year. And the 50 years have come and gone. And what you're seeing tonight, by the way, is a tribute paid by this year's team with those numbers in between the horns on the helmets, as you see in 1963.
Duke Carlisle at quarterback back in the day. That team captained by Scott Appleton, Tommy Ford, and David McWilliams.
Sure.
Ran the table.
And here they beat Navy with Roger Staubach. You know, they won the national championship that year. That was back in the days it was voted on before bowl games.
Right.
A lot of folks thought Navy was going to get them in the Cotton Bowl. Staubach was so awesome, of course. And that didn't happen. Darrell Royal's team took care of business that year. So that team being celebrated all season long. And that is another great play by Cedric Reed, who has been dominant tonight, Ray. You jumped on this almost in the first play from scrimmage.
Well, I don't know if Dada Richards, in fact, I do know he cannot handle Reed. Here he is, and here's Dada, and you're just going to see Cedric Reed power past him on an outside rush. Look at that. One arm just fends him off and then has the ability to do whatever he wants at that point. That's amazing that he can take a man and push him back. I'm talking about 6'3", 315-pound Dada Richards and handle him with one arm.
8 tackles, 1 sack, couple of hurries for Reed tonight. Another punt from Chapman Brown. And he tucked it inside. That's a nice job there. Got it inside the 20-yard line of the 15 where the Longhorns will take over. And not a very good field position. Thought for a second we might see David Ash get a break and Case McCoy coming to the ball game, but it looks like Ash is huddling up with that group. And there you see, there he's right there talking to Major Applewhite. Tough challenge for this Texas team next week. Saturday, the Longhorn team is going to travel to Provo, Utah for the first road game of the season, and it's against BYU, of course. You can catch the Director's Chair edition of the game with multiple angles of the action exclusively on LHN. Coverage begins at 4 Central with Texas Game Day, then on Texas BYU Director's Chair edition 6 Central. Catch him on Longhorn Network. Ash. Complete, maybe a little bit of mental error there by Davis, not to concentrate. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Ash hasn't missed many in this half. In fact, that's the first incompletion since the 2nd interception. David Ash 7 for 7, 242 yards. That covers back to the first half and 3 touchdowns. On the ground game with Gray, he'll get a couple. 3rd and long coming up. Make it 3rd and about 7. Krayshawn Nixon in there on the stop.
MJ McFarland lined up in the backfield as a, he's a tight end, but he lined up as a fullback, and he had a pancake block on that play.
Ash will take off. He's got room. Little stutter step. First down for the Texas Longhorns. Calendar in there on the stop. It was funny, Ray. We talked about the running depth for Texas. Count David Ash among the people who run the ball well. Beside Gray, Brown, Bergeron, Johnson, Ash has to be included in there.
He really is included in there. We saw him explode for a long touchdown tonight, but also make great decisions in the pocket.
Davis, and that could be a very short gain. Johnson in there with a good tackle. Gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5.
And he goes back to Davis to rebuild his confidence. Pretty good numbers. You see those rushing yards, 8 for 91 in the touchdown, and then the passing yards, he's closing down to 400 total yards.
Ash middle of the field, just missed on Johnson. Jay Johnson was open for just a split second. Well, the big thing with David Ash, Ray, talking with Major Applewhite, talking with Mac Brown, how Ash, part of his growth over the past couple of years was not being so down on himself and not carrying the mistakes. And that's one of the reasons that Major Applewhite is on the field. Offensive coordinators tend to like to see the entire field. You cannot do that from the sidelines. And that relationship is going to be so important to the Longhorns all year. Screen for Ash. Davis, bubble screen. Good defense that time. Broken up initially by Stephen Meredith, number 99, who plays that joker position, linebacker, and Bonilla also came in.
Yeah, and it looked like they were going to get to the outside where they motioned Jonathan Gray, and they kind of outthought themselves, threw it back to the other side, and the Aggie defense was there waiting.
Not too much punting action for Anthony Farah, but he'll get the opportunity tonight. He's also done the place kicking. You know, David Ash is so well regarded in the town, on the campus. Everywhere folks talk about Texas Longhorn football. And a kick out of bounds. We'll see what the official finally marks it. It may not be at the 31-yard line. He's going to keep jogging up. Not a great kick that time by Farah. But you go back to the Valero Alamo Bowl and an unusual display of emotion from David Ash, and a lot of people talk about this, Ray, as a turning point in his career.
Yeah, well, David Ash said he didn't even realize he had spiked the ball. Here he is with a scramble and just launching over 3 guys into the end zone. Now, he's jacked up and excited right there. That's how you want your quarterback to react in a big moment like that, and the guys rallied around him.
I know Kaylee Hartung, you spent a lot of time with David, and we'll get a thought from her. She's interviewed David extensively over the offseason and even coming into this game. Right now, the ball is in the court of Andrew McDonald, the senior. Coming to the game just 1 out of 3 for 3 yards in his career in New Mexico State. And that play was destroyed by Hassan Ridgway. The redshirt freshman from Mansfield crushed that play for a loss. It'll be 2nd down and about 14.
Well, what happens is they pull this guard, and here he is. But watch, this guard's going to pull right out of the way and just open up the gate for Ridgway. That's a defensive tackle's dream right there.
Out of Mansfield High School. Donald looks right. That's a nice catch. He'll get back the lost yardage and maybe one more by Joshua Bowen. Still going to be 3rd down and long. Let's get more on Ridgway from Kaylee.
Dave, Hassan Ridgway seeing the field very much so as a result of Ashton Dorsey's transfer. The senior announced on Tuesday that he would be leaving the program. Mack Brown saying it was a mutual decision.
Yeah, he's on his way apparently to Lamar. So you're right, the door opens. What's that saying? One window shuts, the door opens, or whatever that is. And McDonald in huge trouble here. Finally gets away with that. Will not be an intentional grounding penalty as he was out of the pocket, but he had no chance almost the second that was snapped as Tevin Jackson and Carrington Bynum were all over it.
It's actually a pretty athletic play by McDonald to pull back and get that ball out of his hands and basically get an incomplete pass and not lose the yardage there.
So the Texas defense beginning to dominate the game. Quandre Diggs will await the punt at around the 25-yard line, and suddenly Chapman Brown is back to the heavy duty that he did last year when he punted 70 times for the 1 and 11 New Mexico State Aggies, who this year are operating as an independent. Big rush by Texas. Nobody hit the punt. And Diggs will get it out to about the 32-yard line. The WAC, the Western Athletic Conference, isn't supporting football this year. So New Mexico State is independent. They will join the Sun Belt in 2014. That is, by the way, a sneaky good football league, the Sun Belt. And that will benefit New Mexico State, too. And what about the Doug Martin recruiting change the philosophy of, I'm going to come back into my neighboring state to the east. I'm going to go to Texas.
I think that's a brilliant idea. You know, they're very close to Texas anyway. And with the Sun Belt territory now that they're going into, they need to look east for that rather than California, where this program is concentrated in the past.
Bergeron struggling to get outside, trying to break tackles, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, but good defense all the way around by Trayshawn Nixon, George Callender, and finally cornerback Cameron Fuller pushed him out of bounds. Well, this is a difficult situation Doug Martin walked into. He kind of knew it because he had been there before as an offensive coordinator.
2011.
Yep, 2012 he went to Boston College. That whole staff got blown out when Steve Adazio came in. Doug Martin came back to Las Cruces. He believes he can win there, and he believes the biggest problem is, one of the biggest problems is that there's been a disconnect between the program and the community.
And he took care of that right away. They have football camps and other community-oriented events.
Hoffman Brown broke one tackle, got out to the 38-yard line. Maybe they're going to mark it down to 37. Nixon on the stop. Gain of 5. So it'll be 3rd down and 5 for Texas. And you've got to change the whole attitude. You've got to change the perception that you can't win at a certain school. And it's been done before in places where it looked like you couldn't possibly win. And now these programs are producing winners, champions, NFL players. Ash, middle of the field, and knocked away. And a hit by Davis Cazares knocked that away from M.J. McFarland. Turnarounds like Greg Schiano at Rutgers. Remember when Gary Barnett took Northwestern to the Rose Bowl? And maybe those last two are the best examples because those programs have stayed great under their legacy. Snyder and Alvarez, of course, tough loss for K-State last night.
Yeah, it's amazing to me what Bill Snyder did after leaving and then coming back and doing it again.
Yeah, yeah.
That's if he could bottle that and sell it, he wouldn't have to work anymore.
So that's what Doug Martin is probably thinking. I can do this in New Mexico State. Those guys did it too. Texas punted. And the fair catch at the 23-yard line by Darian Johnson. With 1:05 to go in the third quarter, Longhorns in front 35-7.
You mentioned the community, Dave, and some of the things that they've been doing in the outreach is they bring in kids for the clinic. They had close to 500 kids come in for a football clinic to work with the athletes in the program. And you know, that's a great way to do it because when you hit the kids, now they're going to hit the parents and say, hey, I want to go back there. I had a great time. And you know how parents are. They're going to make their kids happy.
They'll try to anyway. McConnell on the swing pass to Brandon Betancourt. That'll be a gain out to the 28-yard line. Let's get back to Kaylee on the field.
Dave, as Davis Cesara has told us, he's always been proud to wear his Aggie gear around Las Cruces, but now when he wears it around town, a lot more people are asking questions about the program.
And good questions. You know, that's the thing. They can say things to you, but you're right. He told us over the phone that much more positive buzz. And the other thing, when you hit the children, when you tell me 500 children show up, that means that market is ready for you if you can start to produce results. He doesn't have to win 6-7 games this year, and they probably won't. But just prove that you're getting better and the fans will respond. That's very close to flag coming in late, slightly away from the play as Bowen makes the catch close to the first down.
You have a low block from outside in.
An illegal block below the waist by number 7 of the offense. The 15-yard penalty and replay second down.
Adam Shapiro guilty of that, the junior from Rio Rancho, New Mexico. So instead of a first down, it's going to be second down and a little bit of distance now. They're going to mark the ball.
Part of the player safety, Dave, a rule that you cannot run from the outside and block a defender that's inside of you below the waist. And there's a good reason for that. A lot of times the guy don't see it coming, and there's no sense in it. You got to protect these guys as best you can.
Ball marked at the 17, Ray, and so it's going to be 16 yards to go in second down. Waning seconds of the third quarter. We have not had, if you're just joining us, any problems with the targeting rules tonight. And we might see New Mexico State just go ahead and run out the clock here. In fact, that's exactly what they're going to do. Believe it or not, this was a 7-0 New Mexico State game in the second quarter. After this first quarter, it was 0-0. Texas then took a 14-7 lead with 2 big plays by halftime, and it's been all big plays for the Longhorns on offense since then.
David Ash made his plays. Tajay Johnson made his. Everyone pitching in for the Longhorns.
Sometimes life in Austin moves that fast, but when you get musicians like Stevie Ray Vaughan, there's a statue of that man in this city. That tells you how great Austin is. His brother Jimmy, of course, lead guitarist for the fabulous Thunderbirds. We've heard them tonight, and get used to seeing these two spending a lot of time. And if you just read Major Applewhite's lips, he said he was starting to say, "Don't beat yourself up." Talking to David Ash. It's going to be an opportunity for a first down, and is for New Mexico State. Another catch by Josh Bowen.
I thought he said, "Keep it weird."
No, that's keep Austin weird.
Oh, okay.
Or on the Longhorn Network, keep Austin wired. Aha. Somebody got an extra sandwich for that.
Well deserved.
I agree. Right in front of the sidelines, hit immediately and cleanly by Sherrod Evans, the junior. Gain of 7, second down and 3. This is a great opportunity now for some second teamers for the Longhorns to get the playing time and impress their coaching staff.
And they are playing base defenses now. We saw Manny Diaz heat them up for a little while there, got the desired effect. Now they're laying back and working on techniques and base type calls that they are going to run throughout the season.
Play. I don't think that pass was ever going to be catchable. No flag thrown by the official. In fact, you see that hat right there tells you the receiver had gone out of bounds. So it's going to be 3rd down and 3. Have not seen New Mexico State throw the ball deep very often. McDonald's competent numbers on the night.
And that's a speed thing. Basically, they know they can't get behind the Texas defensive backfield. And so, no sense in trying. You got to do it once in a while just to loosen them up, move them back. Maybe you catch lightning.
Trouble for McDonald. Couldn't handle the snap, and more than happy to help bring him down with Shiro Davis, the sophomore from Shreveport, Louisiana. It's going to be 4th down and long.
Valerian Ezioki is the center, and every once in a while he'll do this. Watched him on film, and he does a great job on his reach blocks and getting over to the next man one way or the other. But every once in a while he loses concentration, and this is what happens.
Juanre Diggs back deep. Well, early in the game, New Mexico State led 7-0 in the second quarter, I should say. There was 0-0 at the end of 1. But Texas defense has played well all night. Texas' offense was putting them in some bad spots with 3 turnovers. That has all changed rather dramatically. Diggs with an opportunity here, and good tackle in the open field by the Aggies' Anthony Joyner. Manny Diaz said, "I'm angry." In fact, that wasn't the word he used about last year. He's happy tonight.
On the Longhorn Network is powered by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Around South Congress, a lot of foot traffic will be around South Congress, 6th Street, and all the areas around Austin tonight. Longhorn fans and others celebrating what appears to be a Longhorn win in the opening night of the season, just inside 13 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. And Bergeron putting a nifty move, and he's got David Ash as his lead blocker, and Bergeron gets into New Mexico State territory at the 43-yard line. Darian Johnson, the cornerback. I mentioned Ash, of course, but this offensive line has been outstanding for the Longhorns. Once they got it going, that's the key.
Yeah, and they just have worn the Aggies down over the course of this 60 minutes.
Not much there, but we wanted to point out number 68 right there. Big, and we do mean big, Desmond Harrison. That's going to use up a lot of your telestrator ink, Ray, if you try to circle that.
I got
a
bigger circle. That isn't going to work.
And what an interesting story this junior from Houston is, a transfer from Contra Costa Community College. So much potential, just not much experience yet. Opportunity here for Bergeron to break into the secondary. And I think the big fella had a little block there, Ray.
Oh, he just collapses that whole right side of the Aggie defensive line. Watch the big fella. Here he is right here. Bam, he's going to just work his man down and create a tremendous scene.
6'8", 310 pounds. And that's a 6'8", 310. You'd think he'd have a little Dunlop disease. Not the case.
Dunlopped over his belt?
No, not at all. Ash pump fake. He wants to go deep. Jump ball, and it's Davis in the end zone, ruling on the field, and a flag is down too. The field judge has called incomplete. Let's see which way this flag goes.
That ball hung up there a long time.
Pass interference by number 10 of the defense. Penalties declined. It's a touchdown.
Well, wait a minute. Now the field judge ruled incomplete.
Yes,
I saw him wave it off.
And the referee, I don't think he got that word.
All right, well, let's take a look, because this ultimately will be decided by the booth. Goodness, he caught that in.
Yes, that's a touchdown.
Now watch the field judge. Well, let's see. I'm certain that he called it.
Yeah, he came in and gave the incomplete pass sign.
Wow.
That's a foot in with the possession of the football. That's a heck of a concentration play right there.
They'll review it, but
out and up by Davis. He turned Kadeem Thompson Davis all the way around.
This is a fabulous catch. Folks here getting a look on the big scoreboard, and that left foot is clearly down. He has possession, which is the other thing, of course, that is so important.
Yeah, that's 6 if I've ever seen it. Great concentration and body awareness by Mike Davis.
If that stands up, but we think it will, that it's going to be 4 touchdown passes for David Ash tonight.
Yeah, he clearly has the foot in and possession of the ball. That's a touchdown.
And it is. The ruling on the field that stands. It is a touchdown. We saw the one official call it incomplete. Another official ruled touchdown, and that is the ultimate ruling. So the Longhorns are up 41-7 now.
Cooper Castleberry, the referee, knew what he was talking about.
4 plays, 64 yards in a minute 6. The Longhorns have not had any of these 9, 10, 11, 12 play drives. They're going quickly tonight. These drives are happening sometimes in under a minute. The big scoreboard said it. Mike Davis said it. The referee said it. And that Texas sideline a lot happier now after this dominant run from the middle of the second, actually the end of the second quarter to where we are now. David Ash and Mike Davis hooking up on it. And what a catch by Davis to get the foot down on a little bit of that burnt orange paint and to maintain possession of the football.
I got to tell you, one of the funnest things is going over there on the sidelines after making a big play like that, a connection like that, and you start telling each other what you saw and what you did, and you go, hey, you see what had happened was this, that, and the other. That's fun. I love that.
All smiles now. Will be a touchback. See if the quarterback situation for New Mexico State. We'll see if we see any more of King Davis III or if it's going to be Andrew McDonald. Davis had been talked about extensively by the coaching staff as the future of the program. McDonald is senior and he's going to come back out.
Yeah, and I think McDonald took that job. I don't think there's any doubt that he is much more prepared and ready to go than what King Davis III was when we saw him come in. Error after error, just young guy stuff, and so they're comfortable with Andrew McDonald in there.
Well, the good news for King Davis is this will be his team next year if he stays healthy. That's going to be an incompletion. Good coverage that time by Santos. Scoggins unable to hang out of the ball, so it'll be 2nd down and 10. There's King Davis, freshman from Mesquite, Texas. And a lot of hope for him. He is at the point where I don't think he's just quite mastered the offense yet. That's probably part of the problem. And you have a new coaching staff, so everything is new.
Yeah, and it takes a while. It took David Ash a while, as we all witnessed.
That pass slightly underthrown, but a great job by Jordan Bergstrom, the junior from Portland, Oregon, to come back and catch that football. About 3 yards short of a first down. It'll be 3rd down. We'll call it 3.
Doug Martin was telling us, we asked him, what do you expect here, Coach? What do you want to get out of this? He said, hey, we want to go home a better football team, and we want to create an identity. Those are the 2 main goals and purposes for coming in here and playing this ball game. And I think they've achieved both of those.
That looked like it might have been deflected at the line of scrimmage.
We got another swat?
Yeah, you know what? That didn't go backwards, though. I don't think a swat counts if the pass goes in the second.
To me, you get as so much as a hangnail on that ball. I'm going to give you a swat. Affect the flight of the ball. Something good could happen for your defense.
Yeah, it looked like that ball changed some positions there. So McDonald after a 3-and-out against the Texas defense that it really has been very stout tonight. They've given up 286 yards, only 80 on the ground, 206 in the air. In the first half, New Mexico State had 11 first downs, only 3 in this half. And they run the fake to the up man, and it's going to be a first down and a little bit more out to midfield. Leroy Scott making the stop. And how about Cazares, the up man, with the fake? The safety picks up 18.
And Texas is so intent on getting their blocks to set up the return that they didn't take care of their initial responsibility. Everyone has a certain responsibility to stop and contain a fake, and that's the first thing you have to execute. Once you determine there is no fake, then you go about the next business.
Donald turns right into traffic. Up for grabs, out of bounds. He took a hit. Big 96, Chris Whaley. And when McDonald turned, I don't know, he could see anything with Whaley almost in his jersey, 2nd and 10.
Whaley takes the advantage of nobody blocking him. Another blown assignment by the Aggies, and it's fun when nobody blocks you. Just ask Chris Whaley.
Interesting, they call this offense at times a hurry up, and sometimes there is a lot of standing around and waiting.
Well, they got two modes, fastball and look. And look is where you stand around and look for quite a while.
Well, you're going to look at a tackle by Dalton Santos, the sophomore from Van, Texas. 3rd down, and there's a loss here. It's going to be 3rd down and about a dozen.
Yeah, and Santos, he's right here. And watch him. He gets through key, and he just follows behind his defensive lineman there, Reed, and shoots through. The trapper coming around. That was the center, Ume Izioki, and he just beat him up the field.
McDonald under pressure, hit as he throws, trying to screen it to Jeremy Morrison. The blitz was just too fast. Too much pressure that time from Texas. Jeffcoat in there.
See that track, that sprinter stance that Jeffcoat has, and he just explodes around the edge. And you know, we haven't mentioned Devontae Wallace much here this afternoon, or this evening I should say, and we have mentioned Jackson Jeffcoat quite a bit. So that kind of tells you in terms of that matchup who's been more successful.
For the 9th time tonight, Cale Chapman-Brown on to punt. How that didn't get blocked, I'll never know. Diggs is just going to get out of the way and let this roll. What an incredible punt by Brown down to the 12-yard line. 10 minutes exactly remaining in this opening game, and the Longhorns started out with speed. On the team here and right from the man himself, Mack Brown. This live press conference Mondays at 11 a.m. exclusively on Longhorn Network. You can also watch live online and now on your mobile phone with the Longhorn Network app. It's available for free in the Apple App Store. And a first appearance of the night for Case McCoy. David Ash got the rest of the night off. Joe Bergeron will be the tailback. You see what Case did last year. The senior from Graham, Texas. That McCoy name, of course, legacy in this Longhorn program. Bergeron, not much there. Fought to get to the 15-yard line. Pick up maybe 3.
Dave, sometimes statistics will tell you the truth. Sometimes they'll lie to you. If you look at some of these things tonight, New Mexico has run 72 plays. Excuse me, New Mexico State has run 72 plays. Texas 55. And the Aggies have 31 minutes, 32 seconds of possession. Texas 18 minutes, 17 seconds. That ain't the truth right there.
Bergeron spinning, fighting, and gets out to the 23. That'll be a first down for the Longhorns. Gain of 8. The junior had 16 TDs last year.
This is a typical Bergeron run. Bang, boom, just bouncing off of people, dragging people. That guy, he'll carry the load.
Cazares was hanging on to that foot for about 5 yards. Might have picked up some turf burn. Bergeron just taking punishment, giving punishment out as he gets to the 30, maybe even the 31. Dylan Davis bringing him down.
Bergeron is, excuse me, Dave, he's the quintessential 4-minute back. He'll just keep running and running and running.
Well, there's all kinds of. The interesting thing about Texas here, as we have a timeout being called, is they can unveil any kind of tailback that you need. Yeah, they can go with Gray, who's steady. They can go with Brown, who's unpredictable. They can go with Bergeron, who pounds you, and they can even, you can count DJ Johnson now as another speed guy. I mean, that's an enviable position if you're Texas.
It really is. You know, it can lead to problems sometimes. There's only one football, and you got all these guys who can do something with it. You want to keep them all happy and keep them in there and getting the reps that they need, and that's the challenge for Major Applewhite.
And don't forget, we talked earlier, David Ash runs the ball well, too. He got a 55-yard touchdown run tonight. Because the Longhorn team, and I have to admit, I was surprised when they were picked 4th in the Big 12. And they have an opportunity to tell everybody that Texas football is where Texas football thinks it ought to be. Bergeron, nice footwork. Boy, that's some excellent footwork. He'll get out to the 41-yard line with a Longhorn first down. Anthony Edwards brought him down.
It's hard to make a guy miss in the hole. And watch right here, Trayshawn Nixon right there. He's got him right now. Bergeron with a little bit of a stiff arm, and then the jump back inside and the explosion when his feet back hit the ground.
68 yards for Bergeron on just 8 carries. McCoy. Good defensive play out there. The officials going to say that John Harris, who had a touchdown catch earlier tonight, was knocked down by Lewis Hill, although he never really was. That's a 5-yard pickup, 2nd down and 5 coming up.
Yeah, the forward progress was definitely stopped, and they blow whistles quicker these days to protect guys.
What do you think of those numbers over the horns there? This is a tribute to the 1963 team. It will be voted on after the game by the players as to whether or not they'll stay all season long. I don't have a vote, but I would vote yes.
You and me both.
Bergeron, nice cutback. Bergeron into the Mexico State territory. I believe he'll be ruled down, and you see the headlinesman saying Bergeron was down. Bonilla on the stop. Here's a real speed look at this.
Yeah, if you've ever seen a pinball with legs, watch Bergeron. Bounces out, makes the move, bounces off another guy.
And Texas tapping into that running back depth by going with Jalen Overstreet. Wondered if we were going to see him tonight. And yet another great tailback. He's a redshirt freshman from Tatum, Texas. And it just, the rich get richer at that position.
I tell you, he's explosive.
I would defy any hardcore college football fan to find a team with better running back depth than Texas. Overstreet. It's out of bounds to the 20. He was going to come in and play quarterback. That position is kind of taken care of right now.
They also have a true freshman who was very impressive in the spring game, and Tyrone Swoops.
Yep.
So Overstreet, he takes his talents into the backfield at a running back position, and he can get it done there.
The switch to the other hand, though, might have been a better idea as he was heading to that sideline. Now, David Ash, we've been told by John Bianco from the sports information staff that David Ash becomes just the 5th player in Texas history to register, I should say, 400 yards of total offense in a game, and it's never been done in a season opener until tonight.
Oh, and after the start, you'd have been hard-pressed to imagine that was going to transpire.
Well, that brings us to our play of the game, powered by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado, and it's David Ash to Jay Johnson, the sophomore with speed, and this is just spectacular.
And this is what made it 14-7 for Texas, and that's when the floodgates opened. The offense heated up. They started a couple of one-play drives for touchdowns and just really started lighting up the Aggies defense with the big plays.
Longhorns tonight, 634 total yards, 348 in the air, 286 on the ground, accomplished in only 63 plays. They're going to get a great test next week in Provo. Texas is going to take a timeout here.
Yeah, play clock running out.
Yeah, the next couple of weeks for the Longhorns are really going to be interesting because you go up to Provo, never easy up there. Bronco Mendenhall does a great job with that team. And then this on Longhorn Network, by the way, Ole Miss, September the 14th. If you watch the first night of college football, they had a crazy win over Vanderbilt. Kansas State, can they recover from what happened to them? By the way, that's a good North Dakota State team they lost to.
Very good.
Ames, never easy. And then the Red River shootout, as big as it gets between these two schools, Texas and OU.
That's the one.
TCU, always a tough out. They're playing LSU tonight. Kansas, that'll also be on Longhorn Network, a team that almost upset Texas last year. West Virginia, first time in Morgantown for Texas. That is a fascinating experiment, and then you finish the year against Baylor. And that Baylor team could end up having the finest offense in Division I this year. Oklahoma State is also in there too. Oklahoma State, speaking of offense, that game will be here in Austin. And then Texas Tech. Oh yeah, that game will also be in Austin. And then that is a tough one, December the 9th in Waco against a team that is so crazily explosive.
I'm going to go on a limb, Dave, and I'm going to tell you that's going to be the Big 12 de facto championship game.
The last game?
Yes, the
okay.
Baylor game.
Texas on the move. This is 9 rushes, 1 pass, and that pass was a short one.
That's what you call 4-minute offense. Just grind that clock up, control not only the tempo, but the physical nature of the ball game by running it out.
Overstreet. He has wonderful vision. Tried to reach for the goal line. Did not make it, but it'll be. He should have a first down, actually. I think he got the first down, so it should be first and goal and first and inches for a touchdown. That's one great vision. They're going to go very quickly here. And Overstreet, there's his first college touchdown in his first game.
What did you say? The rich get richer?
No doubt about it. So you're telling me they can go 5 deep at that position effectively?
Might have more than that.
They're hiding them that, and they might as well. Wow. So the unveiling of Jalen Overstreet, just to give coaches around the country and around the Big 12 something else to worry about. 12 plays, 88 yards, 348, longest drive of the night for Texas. In fact, I almost could say that their other touchdown drives may not have added up to 12 plays.
Overstreet just taking that little inside zone play, gets the nice block up front, takes it in the end zone. He's on the scoreboard.
Don't forget, Texas Game Day Final powered by Chevy Silverado, following the game on Longhorn Network. That whole group right there. See Lowell Galindo with his hands up in the air. Ricky Williams in there.
He's in there somewhere.
Brooks. Yeah. David and the gang. Looking forward to that. They got plenty to talk about tonight with the performance of David Ash, Jay Johnson, and the defense. And they'll be taking an E, which gives us a chance to tell you that, you know what, Mac Brown's first game as the head coach of Texas in 1998 was against New Mexico State. A fellow named Ricky Williams ran for 6 touchdowns in that game. He did that quite a bit in his career here.
Break out the grainy old coach's film.
66-36 for the first win for Mac Brown. This one tonight will be number 151. His 50th win against New Mexico State with that man, Vince Young. Came into the ball game, got his first touchdown of many.
He was pretty good.
Yeah, that was 2003. A couple of years later. Oh, brother. Andrew McDonald will keep it. And trying to get out of bounds to stop the clock. Manny Diaz wants a word with one of his defensive players. You see that right there? He went right after one of his guys. And can you find Ricky Williams for us there? There he is. In the blue shirt.
That's the man right there.
Yes.
Looking good.
Find that Heisman of the Texas football offices, along with Earl Campbell's, by the way. Speaking of Texas running backs. It should be at first down, and is for New Mexico State. Getting out to the 45-yard line. Kaylee, Ricky Williams, now a colleague of yours.
He is. He's been a lot of fun to work with on Texas Game Day. And guys, I have to tell you, during the pregame show today, Ricky said his Heisman trophy is at a friend's house. Now, I only heard this through my IFB. I couldn't see the expression on his face, but I hope he was joking.
You don't know. You just don't know. He might be doing it.
Spread the love around a little bit.
You know, that's awfully nice of him if he indeed. I would like to know if that's true. Does he visit his friend often? And Ricky's got friends in a lot of places, so it may not even be in the Texas area.
I wouldn't mind running around with that thing for a little while.
Oh, what a hit. Dalton Santos. That's a clean hit. My partner is thrilled right now.
Yeah, he didn't get enough. He had to hit himself in the head 3-4 times afterwards. Watch him. Here he is right here on the outside, and watch him close and then make a big hit. Bam, right there. That's a how do you do. Yeah, give me some more, he says.
2nd down and 6, and there's so much talk about hitting. That is as clean and hard hit as you can deliver. We have not had, in case you're wondering, any of those targeting issues tonight. Only 6 penalties, as a matter of fact. There was one in the Texas A&M game. The Aggies are losing a player for the next first half, I should say, of their upcoming game. Bowen with a catch, and Bowen with a first down on the 43-yard line. That's the other Aggies, not the Aggies you're watching tonight. And knocked down by Dalton Santos, the sophomore, getting a lot of playing time. Steve Edmond taking the rest of the night off.
A lot of times guys play defense because they can't catch. Now this would have been a great grab. I'm going to tell you, and he read the route perfectly, steps in front. It'd have been a one-hand snag for Santos, but great play anyway.
Let's not forget, he had a key play on special teams. He was an up man. He had a 23-yard return that set up Texas for good field position in the first half that led to one of their touchdowns. That was a very important play.
Yeah, that made it 21-7 at the time.
And that was not only a swat, that was nearly an interception by Bryce Cottrell, a redshirt freshman from Plano. So this is a great opportunity for guys like the Bryce Cottrells, the Dalton Santos of the world, with Texas in this game comfortably in pocket, to be able to get some playing time. And that's something that Mac Brown talked to us about, Ray, was this depth makes everybody better. The competition's better. Now you cannot let up because you'll lose your gig.
The only way to create depth is to get guys on the field. And that's what you're able to do when you win handily like this. Santos is having fun right now, ain't he?
He is going corner to corner on this field right now, side to side.
Yeah, he's going to do a lot of talking this week. He's going to ask the coach, hey, put me back to return the kicks. I already showed you what I can do there.
I'm averaging 23 yards a kick return, coach. That's better than half the guys in the nation right now. You're on 4th down and 2. New Mexico State going to take one last shot at it. They've got those Pistol Petes on their helmet. They'd also better hurry up. First down. Forward progress will get it to the 32-yard line. Joseph Matthews with a catch. Well, there is one thing a little bit different about this home opener, and that's Darrell Royal's not here. The great coach passed, and such an influence on, goodness, on his program. He will always be the man when you think of Texas football. Mac Brown, by the way, is the first one to tell you that. He's perfectly okay with that. McDonald fumbles the football. It's going to be recovered by the Longhorns. Too easy a play. Leroy Scott comes away with it.
One of those balls slipped out of my hands things, coach. Here he is. You see, he's on the run, ready to throw it, and when he pulls it back, it just falls out of his hands.
Getting back to Coach Royal, just interesting that Mac Brown says, sometimes it hits him when you least expect it. Yeah. At a luncheon maybe that he's always been at. And Coach Royal, of course, the head coach of that 1963 championship team and others. And his influence on this football program will always be felt. That's why they named the stadium Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium and Joe Jamayo Field. And he'll be missed, of course. He was able to come out to one last game last year to be honored by these fans. And that was a big moment. He has the all-time record for Texas wins as a head coach. Mac Brown's going to get number 151 tonight. And he was asked, we asked him the other day, how are you thinking, it was Lowell Galindo asked him, how are you feeling about, maybe catching or passing Darrell Royal? And he says, I don't care. And he didn't mean it sarcastically. He just means that he knows and understands and appreciates what Darrell Royal has meant to this football program and to football in the state of Texas, period. And he's okay with that. There's no jealousy issues. He was an advisor. They spoke often, and he misses Darrell Royal, as all Longhorns fans do.
He says that even as time goes on, he misses him more.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. Things come up out of nowhere and remind him of the mentor he had. A friend.
Overstreet getting some great opportunities here to showcase his talents. Longhorns even going, I think, 3 deep along the line, and that's something they've got to start thinking about, because they're going to be losing 3 starters, Hopkins, and Walters. Walters made his 39th start tonight. They've got to start building that depth for next year in the offensive line when they get the opportunity. Boy on the keeper. Longhorns just basically running out the clock. New Mexico State can't stop it. No reason to anyway. We see Kennedy Estelle, number 77, getting some playing time at that left tackle. So we didn't see a lot of Desmond Harrison, May, but what we did see of him, what did you think?
I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. And there's another one right there.
Overstreet sees the end zone, and he'll get there for the 2nd time tonight.
He's got explosiveness and a knack of running the football. I mean, that was his calling card as a quarterback. And so the transition into being a tailback, it wasn't that big of a deal. What great vision he had to see that cutback, see the flow of the defense, and then work back against the grain and then explode into the end zone.
Now, Mac Brown said this yesterday when he was talking about how he's going to just try to flood the field with as many players as he can. And his message to the team is going to be, you want more playing time? Play better. Earn it. Well, Overstreet in the end zone twice. And New Mexico State's a little tired, and they certainly don't have Texas's depth. But that's not Overstreet's fault. He's doing what he can do against who's out there. And look at this. You're watching a little history tonight. 715 total yards. The record back in the last century, 1998, against the Owls of Rice was 692.
715 yards of total offense.
Well, you are in the Big 12 after all.
Yes.
You pretty much have to almost do that every week. And that's going to be ultimately the big test for Texas's defense. When you start to run into those cats in the Big 12, that's going to be happening soon. Not in the next couple of weeks, but soon. Actually, Ole Miss will give them a good test. BYU, I don't consider a big offensive power.
No, but they play good defense.
Yes, they do. No. Van Noy is one of the, Kyle Van Noy is one of the best linebackers in the country. BYU in a tussle with Virginia today, and it was delayed by some bad weather in Charlottesville. But Ole Miss can move the football, and that's a game. That'll really be a great game to watch. And you'll be able to watch that game, by the way, on Longhorn Network on September the 14th. Kickoff return here for Jordan Matthews. All right, well, the other night, if you stayed up a little bit late because Ole Miss and Vanderbilt cost a few people some sleep.
Yeah, I was one of those people.
Bo Wallace slings it sidearm. What a catch there. Ole Miss had one of the outstanding recruiting classes coming into this year. They did lose Robert Kimdichie, though, for a little while. Very good defensive player, the older brother of the top recruit. So that might be a bit of a problem for Ole Miss, but they are sending waves around the SEC that they are coming back to be competitive in the competitive SEC. Ole Miss has not been here since 1925.
Find out what took them so long.
They just, they can load up on the Keep Austin Weird t-shirts. You can see this game 7 o'clock Central Time on LHN. Texas took them to the woodshed last year in Oxford and has handled them before, but this is an Ole Miss team that is absolutely better than that team that Texas played last year. And it was BYU a couple of years ago that came in here, led Texas at halftime. Ray, we were at that.
Yes.
And David Ash, it was the whole Garrett Gilbert thing kind of blew up. David Ash got an opportunity to play. There was an issue about who the quarterback was going to be here. David Ash was kind of thrown into a situation where I don't think he was quite ready for it. Well, he's more than ready now.
They were actually running McCoy in to throw the ball and had Ash in to kind of run the ball after Gilbert went out of that ball game. So that was kind of the I guess, initiation for David Ash.
It was a great comeback win for Texas because, frankly, BYU for the first half was way better in that game. But BYU went conservative, and they couldn't hang on. That's next week. But tonight, I think the Longhorns have earned their celebration. Mack Brown, win number 151 here at Texas. A couple of words of encouragement for Doug Martin.
Well, I think Mack Brown's going to take this one, and he's going to have some good things on film to teach and correct with his football team. But they also did some great things that he'll be able to complement and build them up on as well.
In the first quarter, Texas had 45 yards. No points. From then on, 670 yards and 56 points.
That's why you play all 4 quarters.
Yep, at one point, yes, New Mexico State led this game 7-0. You kind of figured that wasn't going to last, and it did not. Jay Johnson made sure of that. Mike Davis made sure of that with a beautiful catch in the end zone, getting that 1 foot down.
And David Ash came back from adversity once again to totally solidify and cement his position of leadership on this ball club.
And Amanda Ray Bentley is called the top quarterback in the Big 12 and maybe beyond. And over time, we'll get a good look at that as college football gets through the first couple of weeks of the season. Of course, there's more games Sunday and even into Monday night with Florida State and Pitt. And of course, as always, here at DKR, we finish with the eyes of Texas. Kaylee Hartong is standing by with Mack Brown. Kaylee.
Coach Brown, your team went on to set the school record for total offense. When you think back to when you were down 7-0, what did this team show you as they put 56 points on the board?
Kaylee, it shows that we didn't play like we should the first half, but we have a chance to be really good. When we got in and really evaluated halftime, we only had 29 plays the first half because we were either scoring or turning it over. They had 47 plays. They had 21 minutes of total time of possession. We had 9, so we had to stay on the field more, and thought the adjustments for the defense were really good on the quarterback the second half. And David Ash played really well, and we started running the ball much better. You said you wanted to see your 2 deep at work tonight. Did you see what you wanted from them? We did. We got to play a whole lot of guys. That helps team morale. Obviously, they don't have depth, and they got tired in the third, fourth quarter, late third, and our guys didn't. They hung in there, so that should help us next week. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Kaylee.
So the final score tonight, 56-7. For Ray Bentley, I'm Dave Lamont, and as always, we close it out. The Eyes of Texas studio will take it after this.
Silverado. Here's your host, Lowell Galindo.
It never gets old, Ahmad Brooks. No, it does not, says my name. Texas Game Day Final powered by the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. To quote the great George Strait, take a truck, take a Chevy, run. 56-7, the Texas Longhorns run over the New Mexico State Aggies. Touch the horn, celebrate a little bit, review potentially what you could have done better in the first half, and then bottle everything.